I'm back. Back. Yeah. Motherfucking back. Yeah. Stop. I told you to be back. Well, there's a chance of that. So, some more One Piece yapping. Some more One Piece yakety yak. What? What? No. Huh? Sure. Saw Battle Beta? Ooh, actually, I've not seen this. I know people talk about Battlefield a lot, like, oh shit, like Battlefield actually some good company. Let me see. Right now, I'm looking for Mugira Map B to pull up. Okay, that's just me. So, the One Piece talk does not end. We're back at it. I think Matt's coming soon. I hope it is. Want to collab with Brago? We're gonna do something because it's been a long time. I think. Shit. The last time I think I talked to Brago was 2013. Does anyone know when the last time I talked to Brago was? Because I think I talked to Brago on stream, I think in 2013. I think it was a long... No, I'm sorry, not 13. 2023. Whoa, it's not that. Whoa, Brago wasn't even around back then. Shit, dude. Nah, 2013, that was for never a double 4 anime. That was co-provider. That was Otaku Assemble. Weekly, always weekly. That was Irving. 2013 was a different era, man. God damn. Now, hey on it. At old times, bro. There was very few cats that follow my content nowadays that have been around for the old era. That were around in the Heian era. All right, which is fine. You know, I've been in this game for maybe too long. All right. But I digress. I'm still here. Otaku Battle Dome. Correctamundo. Yeah. Yeah, never too long. Here's this 2018. Appreciate you, man. You know, it's crazy. We're actually approaching 10 years from 2018. Jesus. 2018. So one of the things that I'm trying to do, and I think it's a really cool idea, because we haven't necessarily done it in a while. Roger's doing his own thing. He's kind of stepped away from like the One Piece community a little bit, which I think is fair. He's still doing his thing though. And there was a lot more sense of community that we had. I mean, I kind of felt it like last 2013. Shit, I could say 2013. 2023, when we were all MMIC. It was a lot of people that were here chilling MMIC. A lot of us went over to No, we went to Anime Expo in California. So there was almost just a community back then. And I felt like over the past like year or so, and I think other guys have felt it too, they've noticed it as well, we're not necessarily doing the same thing we used to. It's been a while since like Reverie is done. And I mean, I can have my own excuses where I've been focusing on other content for the most part. I'm streaming a lot now. I'm streaming a lot for, let's say, gaming content, for, let's say, anime reaction content on Patreon. And I really do want to, because I want to really dive back into the gaming scene. And I've been doing so pretty well, I think, so far. But now we're going to start probably multi-streaming on Kick, on probably start also doing that on TikTok too, vertical streams, things of that sort. So I have plans for streaming on a whole bunch of platforms because there's so many games to get to. And I'm streaming a lot of games, but in the process of kind of like neglecting a lot of anime, well, a lot of One Piece-ish content, like that sense of community that I used to have. So I need to definitely get that back going right now, because the guys that we used to do it with, we haven't done it with in a long time. And I feel like I should probably do it, because for this channel too, for the Cole Requiem channel, they want to have more stuff as well. It was pretty fun talking to Eric and talking to Recon and Jay about what's going on in the show and the series right now. Because right now, like, you could argue that within the next, I would say, I don't know. See, this mural, I think a lot of it depends on the mural and how correct or incorrect it is. Because I know a lot of folks want to take it literally, like bar for bar, or what we see at the end of the mural is the right chapter? No. Here we go. Yeah. If we assume that what we're seeing right here in this mural is, let's say, the future, so, because folks say this is actually Loki. I don't think it's Loki. I think this is an ancient giant. But let's say, because this is a meth. But either way, so let's say that this is the future of the story, and it's bar for bar. Then Elbaf is going to literally be the arc that's going to segue us into the last 2 or 3 arcs of the story. I would say there's probably more than that, because somewhere inside my Kingdom Heart of Hearts, I always want to have a pathway to the moon. Now, will Oda ever go to the moon? It's possible. Will he do it before, let's say, Laugh Tale? Maybe. Maybe Laugh Tale's on the moon. Maybe Anna was already there. Who knows? I'm not too sure. Yeah, the moon arc is the one singular arc outside, let's say, Laugh Tale that I really want to see. I want the moon arc more than I want the final war, honestly. I want the moon arc bad. But the question is, will Oda commit to the moon arc? I have actually, because the signs were there. Also, let me just do this in case, because, the signs were there that we would go to the moon. They were there, but I think Oda probably did a lot of different things when he took that 1 month break during the Road to Laugh Tale. And I think one thing he may have done is change it. Bait, potentially bait. But why not take the bait? Why not just commit? Why not? The story, here we go again. When Oda was talking to the director of, I think it was One Piece film Red, he said that, hey, we can go to the moon and the story will make a lot of sense. Or going to the moon or going to space is not outside the parameter of the story. It can fit within the story very well. And I was like, okay, like, brother, what the fuck? Like, hello? You just can't say that and then think, oh, okay, well, now we're not going to go to the moon. Like, no, take me to the damn moon. Take me higher. Take me further. Take me faster. What is this? This is crazy. Return to Wano? I mean, we couldn't montage because we have to. I still want Yamato back into the crew. The problem is that I think ultimately with Oda, he wants to finish a story within probably the next decade. So from here to 2035, Oda wants to finish One Piece. That's my best bet here. Will he? I don't know. But in order to do that, he has to, a lot of things had to change the story. A lot of things had to be expedited, had to be re-altered. Cap, I'm just telling you what it is, okay? Think about it. Oda took the time to literally reconsolidate certain parts of the story so they would jive better and probably be more streamlined. He changed up, I think, Yamato joined the crew, because when you think about Yamato joining the crew, like full on, she's a crew member, but she's not in full. Like Jimbe back during Fishman Island, or back during, let's say, like those times, right, where he's a crew member but he's not actually on the ship. Koan's just a whole arc to, but no. The arc is over. Yamato, listen, to be fair, I do want Yamato to be on the crew. It's just that I think Oda changed his mind or Editors told him to change his mind, because the idea is that, well, if Yamato's on the ship, that's a lot more time focused on Yamato. I think in terms of the number of years or the number of months, how much time it took, Egghead Island, I believe, is longer than Enies Lobby. Like, Egghead Island is longer than Enies Lobby. That's how long Egghead Island is. And if Yamato's on that, if she's on the ship, if she's on Egghead, it takes more time. Consider the fact that Egghead Island, we cut away from Zoro and Rob Lucci for like half the year, damn near, if not even more so than that. And then Jimbe is just moving Amazon shipment. Jimbe's in the back, he's in the cellar, just moving boxes around. Jimbe does virtually nothing on Egghead Island. Zoro's MIA for a large part of the arc. Robin has a fight off screen against Seraphim. Chopper just does one guard point. Usopp helps out with, J2. So it's like a whole bunch of things were going on. But a lot of the crew didn't get content. And I think you could argue that, no, you can't argue that. If Yamato joins the crew, she's in there, that's more time, because Yamato requires time. So Oda has to give Yamato something to do. He has to. She just can't do nothing. Now that's why I think that Oda decided, okay, and that's going to apply to every arc moving forward. Yamato on Elbaf has to do something. Yamato on, let's say Lodestar has to do something. Like, every character has to do something. Every character requires screen time, especially the prima characters, the main characters. And as a result, it's going to be even longer. Think about it. There was a lot of hints back in the day that Kuzan, Aokiji, was not the 10th Titanic captain of the BB Pirate crew. But he's the pirate, but he is now. Blackbeard's 10th Titanic captain is Kuzan. So I think, Kuzan kind of be like aloof, doing his own thing, and no. He was a part of the clique. And I think Oda did that change because he wanted to utilize a character that's already there, a legacy character like Kuzan, and incorporate him into the situation instead of making a whole brand new character, because that brand new character requires their own storylines, requires their own plots, it requires their own time to focus on for character development, character growth, all these things. And I think that's Oda. And so if there's one thing, is that Oda probably took a lot of arcs and just combined them into other arcs. So Egghead Island, I think, is combined with other arcs. And I would think for sure Elbaf is too. I don't think that Oda had intended to do the Elbaf combined with the Rogue stuff initially. That's what I think. I think that Elbaf was going to be a whole different arc. And then because he had taken, let's say, like 2 years to finish, or like a year and a half to finish Egghead Island, he's like, okay, fuck that. I'm just going to combine the government stuff with the Elbaf stuff and make it all make sense. Just how when we go back to Whole Cake Island, I think it was revealed initially that it was going to be a Germa arc, and then there was going to be a Whole Cake Island arc. The Germa arc was going to be a separate arc focused on Sanji's situation. But then Oda changed it to incorporating Germa and Whole Cake Island together. Sup. So that's what I think ultimately. It's like the issue. I mean, it's not the issue, but that's what Oda's doing, especially for the end of the story where it has to be highly climactic, which is going to be battles to the rest of the people that are strong and the rest of the crew outside of Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Jimbe doesn't matter. Jimbe, I think, should matter. It's kind of weird to have, because think about it. Oda had such a build-up for Jimbe to join the crew. When Jimbe did finally arrive on the ship in Wano country, that was a big deal, where you had even Law and Kid. They were just shocked because Luffy's main competitors at that point in time were Law and Kid. And they were like, holy shit, he actually has Jimbe on his crew. Jimbe's name commands a lot of weight. Like his build, his body. He commands a lot of weight. But Oda has to then commit to that, where it's like, okay, you have someone like Jimbe on the crew. Everyone in the story acknowledges how insane that is. It's like Jimbe joining the Stride crew is akin to Crocodile joining Buggy's crew. I'm gonna say it again. Jimbe joining Luffy's crew is akin to Crocodile joining Buggy's crew, where you have someone of such notoriety and so much clout in the story historically, and then they join the crew of another person that only elevates the stats of that crew exponentially. Jimbe and the Strats are the same way. But the issue is that Jimbe, by Oda, I feel like after he's joined the crew, Oda doesn't see the value in, or I don't think he's really that gung-ho on giving Jimbe that much time. Truth be told, Jimbe, if there's a case here where Zoro and Sanji get Conqueror's Haki, so should Jimbe. Mm-hmm. You heard me right. If you have, well, Zoro has Conqueror's Haki for sure. Sanji will get a 2. Actually, no, I think he will. Sanji will get a 2. Jimbe should too. Usopp, I can see it for sure. But Jimbe should too. Yeah. Jimbe should get some COC, some crack. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think Oda ever do it. It's hard for me to commit to Oda's. It's hard for me to commit to Oda's and actually do it, because Oda, I don't think, will give Jimbe the time that he requires to get Conqueror's Haki. He may just get it, like, let's say passively or something, but will it be like deserved? Will it be like, at a good point in time? Will it actually be thought out? No. It kind of be like Zoro's backstory, where it's like, okay, Zoro has some connection to some sort of shit with Shimotsuki. All right, get used to that. It's not like, it'll be SBS content, essentially, which would be insane. Even though it requires a lot of focus, a lot of thought to really make it make sense, but you could do it. Why would you need it? It's not necessarily need it. It's more so the quality of the crew that you're a part of. Jimbe is on the ship that's going to be the greatest pirate ship of all time, the Strat crew. Jimbe is on the ship that's going to be part of a crew that's going to be even better, superior than every other pirate crew in existence, including the Rocks Pirates, including the Roger Pirates, including Joy Boy's clique. Luffy is going to do where every other person failed, honestly. So you could argue that, okay, Zoro and Sanji are enough because he has 2 wings, like in the same vein as Gabon and Rayleigh, but obviously Zoro and Sanji can be stronger than Gabon and Rayleigh, which is fine. I think for Jimbe, you can argue, well, he needs his love too, especially when you're talking about caliber of crew on that standing. Like the greatest pirate crew of all time, the GOAT crew. That's going to be Luffy's crew. Red House, appreciate you for some more Luffy slander over on YouTube with that $2 donation. Luffy is the honored bum. I thought you dropped One Piece. I'm surprised you're still here, bro. Luffy is not a bum, all right? Luffy is Himothy. All right, Luffy is a stud. He's too damn good, in fact. He's too damn good. 2 streams. Well, I mean, to be fair, last stream was pretty short, but yes, 2 streams 1 day. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And then tomorrow I'm gonna try and get to some stuff for the read through. I haven't. Well, yeah, because I've not gotten to read through in a minute, so I'm trying to get some time there. Luffy's a Kaido victim. I think he still is, but I don't know how long he's gonna be a Kaido victim for. I think there's a good chance that come the end of Elbaf, Luffy is going to be stronger than Kaido and Big Mom 1v1. Will it be the case? I'm not too sure. But if Luffy, let's go to it quick. Where's that chapter? Chapter 222? Yeah. If Luffy can do this by the end of Elbaf, he's stronger than Big Mom and Kaido. If he can exert Joy Boy levels of Haki, he's stronger than Kaido and Luffy. And so I'll put Luffy at like Luffy without plot armor is Bellamy. Stop it. All right, listen. Without plot armor, Luffy is. Without plot armor, Luffy is. Without plot armor, Luffy's Law, basically. Without plot armor, he's Law. He's still one of the GOATs, but he's not vying. Well, he's still in the top 10, but he's not vying for Mount Rushmore. You see what I'm saying? Like Law is top 10 caliber, but he's not Mount Rushmore caliber. All right. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Cole, if you could build a crew through Davy Backs, who would be your top 3 commanders? If I could build a crew through Davy Back fights, my top 3 commanders. Okay. Robin is number 1. Ulti is number 2. Lilith is number 3. Boom. I'm set. Yo, I'm gonna find this shit easy. All right, I am set. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, let's whoa. That's my crew. My crew is strong. Ripley. We have to analyze Ripley in a much more thorough analysis. I've done plenty of analysis on Ulti, on Lilith, and on Robin. Plenty of analysis on Robin, yeah. So yeah. Hey, listen, you want an answer? I'll give you an answer. Red House again. Kaido should have went for the head. Buggy rocks soon, Cole. I'm okay with Buggy being like a distant relative of Rocks, as long as it doesn't mean shit. The same way Zoro is like a relative of like Kozuburu. No, Kozuburu, not Kozuburu. Ushimaru. But it doesn't really mean much in that way, honestly. Where's Matt? Matt's getting ready. He's still getting ready. Because right now I'm in the shouting frame right now. So, yeah, I don't need everyone to be related. Right. You really don't. It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean much. I feel like the idea is that with, I think the idea, if I'm being honest with you, is that when you consider the fact that Blackbeard and Ace are related to not only Rocks but Roger, it kind of does take away a little bit from the sort of, well, anyone can just kind of do it, or anyone is going to be important given the right set of circumstances. Like, it kind of felt like Luffy, obviously he's Dragon's son, but Luffy isn't the son of fucking like Joy Boy himself, right? Or as far as you know, or let's say he's there's some sort of prophecy for talking about Luffy shit. Nah, there's not. I mean, you can argue that, okay, maybe the hard text does surmise that in the future someone will do X, Y, and Z and the other, but Luffy is among a pool of people that could be. That's why I feel like Shanks was also part of that pool of people too. The same thing for Kaido, the same thing for Goldie Roger, the same thing for there are people that I think are like Joy Boy candidates in the story, and Luffy arguably is just one of those candidates. So someone would be him ultimately, Joy Boy in the future, but it's a matter of who that person was going to be. And Luffy was the right person. That's really it. But it's not like, okay, well, we know for certain or we know for sure the kid, like it's gonna be this kid exactly. No. To co-react to the new One Piece opening, no, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow on stream. Tomorrow, because it comes out on, I watch on Patreon. By the way, if you want to watch my anime reactions, they're on my Patreon. Okay, I do One Piece. Actually, we're gonna start doing Severance on Wednesdays, but I do a lot of animes every Monday, Wednesday, usually, and Saturday nights. That's what I normally do. And so I'm watching the new opening for the first time tomorrow night. So yeah, we do it everything. We do it live. Though right now we use Vimeo to stream, but I'm gonna probably change it in the near future. Patreon's going to have streaming available, but I don't know when it's going to be. That's still in beta testing right now. It's unfortunate because I really, 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 really want that streaming effect. I really do. I'm not gonna... So, since we can multi-stream nowadays, I'm going to probably do some Kick streaming, and I'm going to probably do some reactions to shows on Kick and see how that goes out. Yeah, see how that goes. How much video costs? Too much money. These fuckers cost too much money, man. Like every 3 months, open those coffers, bitch. We taking half. Like, yo, they're worse than the IRS. They're for sure worse than the IRS. They're brutal. They're fucking savages. They're savages. So, yeah, I've done it for years, but I think it's getting to the point now where I just can't do it anymore, because it's crazy. How far does Zoro and Sanji go if restarting the new world? That's a weird thing. If restarting the new world, what does that mean? If restarting the new world, like, you mean Zoro and Sanji as a crew together, or do you mean like in terms? I guess you mean power wise. In terms of power, Zoro and Sanji. Okay. In terms of, yeah, that's a weird question. In terms of power, Zoro and Sanji right now, well, I mean, they basically be in the same spot. I'll put something like Marco. That's basically it. They'll be Marco. Where, do you know how back in the day, the elders kind of considered Marco to be an upcoming emperor, where it was Marco and the other remnants of the White Pirate crew that could maybe be in Blackbeard and be emperors? I think you could argue in the same vein for Zoro and Sanji, where I think that at this point in time, Zoro and Sanji are on the same level as Katakuri now. And that's a high bar I put, all right? Because I put Katakuri as the probably like the outside of Ben Beckman, the best Yonko second. That's what I think. So I would say that you have those two on that level. So basically, Zoro and Sanji at this point in time, if they want to right now, they could be Doflamingo 1v1. They could be Jack 1v1. Well, that's all. Well, obviously, duh, yeah. But like they could handle Dressrosa with Dofi by themselves if they needed to. Yeah, that's what I'd say at this point in time in the story. Yeah, for sure. At the end of the arc, they could probably be Katakuri 1v1 on Whole Cake Island in the mirror world. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah, Sanji can be Snake Man, of course. It can be a hard fight. But Snake Man Luffy back then, yeah, for sure, without a doubt. Snake Man Luffy now? No. I mean, honestly, it kind of gets weird. But because Luffy's so much more powerful now. Like, I personally think that Luffy is gapping the shit out of Zoro and Sanji. I think he's gapping them. I know all folks don't want to believe that, but I think that, like honest to God, Luffy in a fight against Zoro and Sanji together, Luffy's probably still winning. I'm being honest with you. So, Cat's on Queen's level? No, I have Cat. I think Cat is the second strongest Yonko second. I think he's stronger than King of the Wildfire. I think he's stronger than Marco. I think Katakuri is stronger than... I think I have him right underneath Boa, if not at Boa's level. I think I have him that high. I forget where exactly in my top 30 strongest list. I think I have him somewhere there. All right, I have Katakuri high. High. Yeah, Yonko C1, right, yeah. Like, I think, okay, I'll put another way, too. I'll put another way. Zoro's still losing to Fujitora in Dressrosa at this point in time. Sanji, if he's there, too, he lose to Fujitora, too. They would both lose to Fujitora. But it's a better fight. It's a better fight. All right? But Fujitora is still beating both Zoro and Sanji in a 1-1 fight in Dressrosa at their level right now. I would probably say by the end of the arc / in the next arc, let's say Lodestar, right? By then, we can talk about, let's say, Zoro and Sanji able to handle Admirals. But they're not there yet, man. They're not there. That's not even a whoa. Zoro has to show off a lot more to beat guys. Wait a second, dude. Hold on. Let me. Because some of you guys have memories of goldfish. Nah. Guys, there's no way. There's just no fucking way that Zoro is beating Fujitora in a 1v1 fight when literally 1 arc ago he couldn't put down Rob Lucci. Like, what are we talking about? There's no way. And again, I applied the same thing to Sanji. Why is it so fucking hard to find this damn panel? Holy shit. When the fuck did he put down Lucci? Or at least try to put down Lucci. How is Zoro beating Mihawk EOS? He's gonna beat him. What do you mean how? What do you mean how? He's gonna beat him. How? He's gonna beat him. No! All right. This is a stain on Zoro's legacy. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, Zoro actually he wasn't going all out because Zoro had like green embers, 316 Sharingan Tomoe, Bankai Daigurin Hyo. No, guys. No. Now we know. It is confirmed now. Zoro didn't know, he knew he had Conqueror's Haki. So you can't say, well, Zoro actually had another level. No, he didn't know shit. Zoro didn't know, bandana. Zoro didn't know shit. He didn't know, this buddy thought that he was still using armor Haki. He didn't know, he had no idea. How can he tap into another level if he had no idea what the hell was even going on?
Yo.
What's
going on, brother?
What's good, man? How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm yelling at Chad about Zoro. What's going on, man?
You're good, bro. You're good. You're good. I just started my stream up too, man. So
okay,
bet. I guess we're both gonna be streaming on different platforms. Are you simulcasting right now?
Yeah, I'm simulcasting right now. I'm simulcasting on YouTube and I'm simulcasting on Twitch. I'm gonna probably start doing other simulcasts in the future because I really want to do on Kick too. So yeah, what's up?
This is mainly you're gonna be talking with other Raiko Lords, right?
Right up to the mat.
Reason being that don't you think you should go up to the room above, which is specifically reserved for the Raiko Lords and your
the Great Hall Lords? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, right. just so that you don't get any of the.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. Try. Okay, fair enough. You're right.
I'll pull you guys up. Don't worry.
Yeah. Pull us up. All right, we're set. Yeah, I forgot. I'm in the wrong damn. Sometimes I forget the Discord like areas. Okay. Yeah.
Nah, you're good. You're good, brother. You're good.
All right, but I mean, yeah, I was kind of because we were talking. I was talking to Eric and JD and King Recon before earlier today, and it felt kind of good getting back to like that old 2020, 2018, 2017 style where we just kind of all got together, just yapped about One Piece for like hours. You know, I felt pretty good. Because I do it
Yeah,
with like my
that's
subs, but I don't do it with like any of you guys that much anymore.
yeah, that's what I was aiming to do with this because
Mhm.
so I kind of did something like that. I did something like that like 2 weeks ago. I just randomly started streaming
Mhm.
and ended up having like 300 fucking viewers in there. So I was like,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
well, obviously there's still some type of demand. There's still some type of want from the fans, from the guys. So
Absolute.
um we were just in there, we were just shooting the shit, bro, just talking One Piece for like 4 hours, bro. I hadn't
Mhm.
talked One Piece that long in so long. So I was trying to do something like that this weekend. I kind of want to make that like obviously it can't happen every weekend, right?
Right, right, right.
But we got more years in the past, or more years behind us than we do in front of us for One Piece.
That's the thing,
So
yeah. So I mean, if it's gonna be the time to do it, the time should be now. I mean, even
yeah,
the anime, like there
exactly.
are things that are coming up for One Piece, like the live action. You have the One Piece, but for the manga, like the primary material, it's like, well, this is like the bread and butter that we focused on for so long. And I mean, I think we only have Eric kind of made the point we maybe have like 3 arcs left after Elbath potentially, and then that's that. That's a wrap. So I think it's possible we have maybe like 4 or 5 arcs, but outside of that, we're done.
Well, you said outside of like outside of Elbaf
Yeah, no,
and
like
the final
outside
war.
Albath, like maybe there's like at most like 5 more arcs, and that's it.
I would
At
even say
most,
that's a stretch. Yeah, I would even say that's a stretch.
I think kind of like
Five,
depends. Yeah, because I
is
think
kind of crazy.
because it
Like, look,
depends. Well, go ahead,
how
shoot.
many how many years do you think are left of One Piece? So before we get down to the nitty gritty, let's start here, right? And hopefully this will be the last time we have this year's conversation. Um,
It won't be, but you know it won't be.
yeah,
You know
it
it won't
won't
be.
be.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, realistically speaking, right? Um, Realistically speaking, how much longer do you think we have One Piece? How many years?
My guess is that I'm thinking that Oda wants to end this by around at least 2035. Maybe 10 more years that he can muster up, and that's it. The only reason I
Oh,
say that
you
is because,
think?
yeah, because listen, hold up. And listen, here's the thing. Oda, I think, is taking a lot more time to finish the story because he's doing outside shit. He's working on the live action, and we saw what happened, like, I think 2013, or no, 2023 or 2024. He was
Yeah,
going to Cape Town, he was going back, he was taking these hiatuses, taking all these breaks. And so, Oda, if he's going to do a lot of side content now, it's because we know, I think now for sure, that they're going to pump out more live action content over the years. So, if they're going to do that, that means more Oda's time. So if Oda's gonna
yeah,
spend more time doing that stuff, that means less chapters on a yearly basis, which means a longer window. So that's what I'm saying. And then also I think Egghead Island, I think, was even longer than Enies Lobby in terms of the years. So it's like, and that arc in terms of number of chapters, I think is shorter, but it took way longer to get that content done. So if that's the
yeah.
case, then Oda's gonna probably be, again, it sounds crazy, but I think 10 years is what he has maxed out. Like max, like he's done after 10 years.
I think I think so if we do like 5 years, that will put us. I think that so here we've been in Elbaf for about a year, right? Give or take.
Yeah, I think so. Shoot, has it been? Damn, maybe you're right. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Then
Let me
it's
check real
been
quick.
like I think it's been like a year, give or take. So I say at the very, very, very least,
Yeah.
Elbaf is gonna go on for at least another year and a half, right?
Okay, so at least another year and a half. So 2026, 2027, like early
Yeah,
27 is when we end it. Okay, I can
yeah.
buy that.
So I say we still got at least a year and a half, right, of Elbaf, okay?
All right,
So
cook.
then this puts us in like the 2027 range. So then you factor in how long the final arcs are of like shonen series, right? It's gonna at
Long.
least be 3 to 4 years, or 3 to 5 years for the last arc. Like, look at Bleach, look at Naruto. Toriko, the list goes on and on.
Right, final arcs are tend to be the longest arcs for sure. But the question is, will be in the final arc after Elbaf? That's the question. I don't think we will be.
Well, it just depends on what you think is like the roadmap for the Straw Hats and like for Oda, right? So there's like realistically, there's only one thing left to do to get to the One Piece, okay? And that one thing can be honestly at any given point for the Straw Hats, okay? And what I mean by that is, right? So we've we've gotten those chapters. We've gotten a couple of chapters in recent memory that have covered up, like with their one chapter, have covered up like a good 10 to 15% of the story of One Piece. The chapter,
the mural was one of the biggest ones, I think.
Yes, that's one, but the one that I'm speaking of in general, right, or the first one that comes to mind is when Inarashi is talking to the Straw Hats and he reveals to them the secret about the road poneglyphs, or about the poneglyphs, and how there's 4 red ones that mark, when X marks the spot, bro. That chapter right there. And people call me crazy for saying this, bro. That is at least 15% of the story of One Piece, because not only does it tell you how to get so look, before that chapter, how did you think that we got to One Piece? By sailing all the way to the end of the all the way to the end of the Grand Line.
I had some crazy ideas, so I'm not even, because it took me too long to throw all my ideas, but I had multiple takes on what could have happened now to get to One Piece.
Well, I get you, right? But what I'm saying is like the general consensus to what people like your casual, right? Thought when they're reading the story of One Piece is like how, the way that they get to the One Piece, or they get to the last island, Raftel, is sail all the islands of the Grand Line, and you finally get to the last island, right? So that chapter showed us that's not the truth. You have to get there by finding, by the points that intersect with the road poneglyphs,
right?
Okay. Then also that dream ties in Nami's, Robin's, and fucking Luffy's all together. Luffy has to fight the Yonko.
I don't know about Nami's, but Robin and Luffy's for sure, yeah.
Well, I say Nami's because Nami wants to draw a map of the world, right?
Yeah, but that's like also corresponding, let's say things like, hey, we have to go and find the North Blue and stuff and draw islands there, and South Blue, and plus the map. The world's gonna probably change after we also get the One Piece treasure too, because you have the war levels probably decrease somehow. Once that happens, you're gonna have I see what you're saying. Ultimately, you are right. But Nami's thing is probably gonna be like montage and something, and like a series of chapters, because you just can't have her go to every blue on page.
Yeah, it's not gonna be something that we see her do on screen. What I was just getting at is like, okay, cool. Like she'll be able to actually map out Raftel on the map, and things like that, right? So you got chapters like that cover up a wide margin of the story. So I think that can happen honestly at any given point, to whenever Oda decides he wants to throw in the last road poneglyph for the Straw Hats.
Well,
and then who has it?
Well, we don't know. But probably Gabon. If we believe that he's the man marked by flame with that scar on his face, then he could be the man. So at the end of the arc, we could see Gabon just give him the rope poneglyph, because it's hidden, let's say, somewhere in the heaven area of Elbaf. And then here you go. Here's the last rope poneglyph, and now you have the path to One Piece. So it could be happening at the end of this arc. But something that we have to kind of know here too is that Oda himself has kind of stated that he's really bad at gauging the timeline of how the arcs or story should flow. He's really bad at doing that. He said before time again. So like he's had the whole like 81% bullshit when we were on Whole Cake Island. It was like, well, we're not even close to being 81% done with the story, Oda. Or let's say, hold on, give me 1 second.
No, you're good, bro.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So what was that? So basically, like, you have Oda being wrong constantly about how or when the story's gonna end. He's always misgauged it entirely, and then also with Oda too is that Oda takes longer time to get things done now, and it feels like even though let's say we have let's say we do get the last reporting at the end of Elbaf, there's still going to be a process of things having happened. Let's say we have to get involved with government stuff. We have to have a situation where we have Sabo meet with Vivi and Luffy too. So even though we find out about Lodestar's importance, we can still go to Lodestar for another thing that is not necessarily One Piece treasure specific, but we still go there regardless. And then we have things that have to be taken care of there. So it's like, I'm not necessarily saying that, okay, we're going to have like 3 major arcs before we get to the final war, or let's say you're finding Laugh Tale, but we could get like Zoe type arcs for sure, where we have these sort of mini journeys, particularly if we don't get the low poneglyph on this island. And then what they said about the low poneglyph be on a ship, like this all black ship, when Kuzan and Blackbeard were talking about it. Okay, if that's the case, then we need to find this person. Where's this person at? You know, and then so that's gonna be its own arc and deal with that person.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it all depends on how Oda wants to do it, right? I think at the very least we probably have 3 arcs left in the story.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because obviously you have to guarantee like the final war, you have to guarantee the Laugh Tale, and also you have to guarantee probably the flashback. I'm guessing the Void Century flashback. So those are like guaranteed arcs. You can argue.
So let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this: do you think that we're gonna get a full arc for Laugh Tale?
I mean, well, we should. I think at least, because I think that it's gonna be. I think it depends. So if Laugh Tale is going to be the battleground for the final war or a part of the final war, then I think for sure it's gonna be a full arc. Especially, let's say, even if we probably should get a Void Century flashback too, either around Laugh Tale or on Laugh Tale. We have to get at some point as well, because we have to get the full details of it all. So that I think is when we should really. So that should be a full arc. That should be like a full 2.5, 3 year arc. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, how do you feel about Laugh Tale corresponding with the final war arc? Like, I'm cool with that
as long as I'm cool with that as long as you don't have too many. Honestly, I'll keep it a stack. There's a good chance that the final war will be happening after. I mean, before we go to find the One Piece treasure, because I feel like the way it should work is that it should be the last race for the pirates. The story's kind of been built up ultimately to where this is a pirate story, and I think if we're gonna have, let's say, one big battle for the One Piece between, let's say, the major pirate factions, Buggy's crew, Luffy's crew, Shanks' crew, and Blackbeard's crew, that I think is way better suited off for the finale of the story for the treasure itself. That I think makes more sense to me. And then you have the final war. Let's say if you involve Imu and company, if they're not a part of Blackbeard's thing, where the fuck, then you're gonna have that happening beforehand, because the pirates ultimately are the ones that are gonna change the world. That's what I think. I mean, One Piece is a story about pirates first and foremost. I know that you're a Rev guy, but the pirates matter the most in the story of One Piece. I feel like that should even apply to the very end of the story. So,
for sure. I mean, just because I'm a revolutionary guy doesn't mean that I can, I'm gonna deny
Rev heavy
the facts,
True.
right? But hold on real quick. Let me just say, shouts out to everybody in the chat. Me and King are both streaming at the same time. King is streaming on YouTube and Twitch.
Shouts to Match Chat.
I am streaming on YouTube, so it's been a minute since we were able to talk about One Piece, and it's a good time to do so. I think Elbath is cooking, cooking up something nice right now, and then it's always good to talk to my boy King. So shouts out to everybody that's in
and it's
the
been
chat.
a while too since we've done this as well, so it's nice to kind of break that ice again. We've had these sort of layers of scar tissue that have been building up, but we are finally getting back into this kind of stuff. So it's pretty nice, because we should do more of this, honest to God.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll, there may be some special people popping up. Some folks may rear their heads. I'm not gonna promise anything, but if not, then you got King of Lightning and Matt B here to entertain you on a Sunday night. But anyhow, bro. So, look, man, I definitely. I'm picking up what you're putting down as far as the pirates changing the world, right? But don't you think there are gonna be some other people, some other like some other important characters that are going to be integral to that as well, right? I'm not saying the entire organizations
What do
that
you
they
mean?
belong to. So like
Like
I
Vivi
would
or
throw
something, or Sabo?
I would throw Kobe in there. I would throw
Oh.
Vivi. I would throw Vivi in there. Maybe even Shirahoshi.
Oh,
I
well,
would
yeah,
throw
yeah, yeah.
Blackbeard's in there too, and like Blackbeard is like yes, Blackbeard is a pirate for sure. But I'm a King. You're gonna be surprised or not surprised with this, but I think you'll like this, right?
All right, shoot
You
from the hip.
know, you know how I've always been revolutionary guy. I think the world, or I've been on record since way back 2013 saying that the Gorosei are the final villain of the
Yeah,
series, world
yeah.
government. Bro, it's Blackbeard. It's Blackbeard hands down.
Ah, okay,
It,
okay,
it it is
okay.
it is
All right.
Blackbeard 100%. Okay,
I don't know about 100%, but I kind of see your
100%.
thing. Yeah,
From
because
my perspective, from how I'm looking at it, Blackbeard all day, all day.
he is, I think, set to be a more so. The way I kind of viewed it, and I really agree with that idea too, because I think I prefer that over the Imu final villain idea. Because to me, it felt like Imu being final villain. Think about it. Imu was only like introduced in chapter like 900 some odd, like during the Reverie. And it's not to say that okay, like Imu doesn't have that notoriety onus in the story. It clearly does. It's very important to the story. But at the same time, Blackbeard meant a lot more to the readers as a whole for so many more like decades, years. And I think with Blackbeard, with the introduction of the whole like okay, Rocks had a plan on Imu itself, and BB has powers. He has ability to like absorb powers. I feel like it's just better suited to have BB actually like absorb Emu, so you kind of get like the best of both worlds. You get like Blackbeard and Emu kind of coexist in a singular body, and they come in as like the final adversaries for the treasure. But listen, shots to Randy Troy about this one too. I'm always cool with the idea of actually, well, we can get that, but also let's try and get that in conjunction with like a lot of pirate heavy shit. And I'm cool with the 4-way battle royale Davy back fight. I'm fucking cool with that shit. I think that'd be fire. I think it'd be hella heat. Absolutely. Buggy's crew, Shanks' crew, BB's crew with Emu in BB's like, soul, and Luffy's crew vying for the treasure on the last Davy back fight. Like, bro, let's cook. Absolute.
Bro, listen to me, okay?
Yeah.
Blackbeard is going to take Emu out.
Yeah, I've done.
Okay.
I agree. I agree.
So Blackbeard is getting Emu all the way out of the paint, and Blackbeard is going to become the king of the world. So I think where Roger or where Luffy has clearly inherited Roger's will and is going to run with it and do something more with it that Roger couldn't. I think the same thing applies to Blackbeard in regards to Zebek. Okay. I think that Blackbeard is going or has inherited Zebek's will and is going to run with it. Okay. I think that Blackbeard is going to go back to the Holy Land. Okay. After getting all of the ancient weapons. It's no coincidence that Caribou is going to Blackbeard. Yes, all. Well, okay, so
I think Shirahoshi's off limits, honestly, and I think One Country.
Shirahoshi is going to be the main one that he gets.
I don't think so. I think he's going to get what's ever in the Holy Land already. I think he's going to get that shit.
All right, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you why he's gonna get Shirahoshi, okay, and then how it's all gonna happen, okay? Because I'm not just gonna throw you some shit like some shit that I'm spitballing off the top of my head, like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen, bro. Listen. Caribou has been in the story, and from the get-go, right, all the way back in Fishman Island, Caribou is talking about, yeah, I want to get to this guy, get to that person, get to this guy to give him this information, right? He's saying that this person will value this information, okay, and that person that he was always referring to when he has found out secrets of the world, okay, so finds out about Shirahoshi, then finds out about Pluton. Okay.
Right.
that person was Blackbeard. He was always trying to get that information to Blackbeard. People has been speculating on that since the very beginning of, like since the beginning of post time skip. Okay, so Blackbeard gets that information. Blackbeard is one of the only people in the information in the world of One Piece that has the information that he has regarding those weapons. Okay, so the vision that Madame Shirley has, right, where she envisions Luffy coming and destroying Fishman Island. That is not Luffy, King. You know who that is, right?
I mean, there's takes on that, but I mean, go ahead, shoot.
That is Catarina Devon.
I don't know how she gets Luffy's power. I mean, like Luffy's likeness, though. I don't know how she does that,
bro. The same way that she got, Shiki's.
Shiki's.
Or not Shiki's, Saturn's.
Oh yeah,
bro.
by touching them, right? But like that means that there has to be like until we get a conflict with BB and Luffy, I don't see how that's possible for her to like get in contact with him. I mean, maybe there could be an op mission on that part, but
look, King. Enough has happened for it to have already happened. They were on Egghead at the same. They were on Egghead at the same time that the Straw Hats were. Okay. They were at Egghead the same time that the Straw Hats are.
So then Catarina actually met Luffy at some point and actually touched him at some point, and then already has that like file on data.
Correct.
That's already in the hard drive.
I think it's I think it's very possible. I think it's something that could have potentially happened off screen, and then we'll see it later in the future. It happening on screen, or when it happened off screen through a small flashback. You get what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. But that's a pretty crazy idea, because when we think about what happened during the arc, there's no real time where she could have met Luffy. I think particularly too when Saturn runs into those two, Luffy I think is next to Sanji, and they're dealing with like Kizaru. While Saturn is meeting with, or he runs into them before he becomes like a big Kaiju Titan dude. So I don't know, like, at what point do you have Luffy run into, like, because I think when we see them on the, hold on, let me see here. By the time we see their ship near the side of the island, Luffy's already eating the food, getting back to full power. So it's like, I don't know about that. That's kind of crazy.
Hey, well, look, right? Don't get too caught up in when I say that it's happened, right? When I say
it kind of matters, because that makes sense, right? It's got to make sense.
Well, correct, it does. Blackbeard, truth be told, right? Truth be told, if Catarina Devon did do it, she wouldn't be doing it with the intention to go to Fishman Island. I will say that, because Blackbeard doesn't know about Shirahoshi yet.
No. That's fair.
Caribou went with Catarina Devon and Van Auger back to the Pirate Island, or wherever, to meet with Blackbeard, right? So it's a very well possible chance that it didn't happen on Egghead, right? That would just be a part of my headcanon. But after Blackbeard finds out the information, okay, about Shirahoshi, and he's devising a plan, it's definitely going to come up that the Straw Hats, or that Fishman Island is the Straw Hats territory. So that would, like,
it would force his hand to be, okay, we need to pretend to be Luffy, because
or
we have to make them believe that we're coming in there as the Straw Hats. I see what you're saying there. Like, that's the onus for that stuff. So it's Catarina pretending to be Luffy. That show she saw in the vision. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the problem is that we just have an issue of getting from point A to point B, where it's like, you could imagine a scenario where instead, like, let's say Luffy company, they need to destroy Fishman Island because, let's say Fishman Island is in danger or the shit, or let's say they're doing it because the Noah Ark is going to be their safe haven out of there. So everyone gets fed to Noah Ark, and then Luffy has to do it because X, Y, and Z reason, that let's say involves an ancient weapon, or the Seekings are going amok, who knows. But at the same time, if you get, because I do agree with you that Blackbeard should get ancient weapon for sure, but I feel like it's way better to him to get what we already have established on the Holy Land via getting Imu's powers. That's, I think, makes the most sense. I don't see him necessarily getting Shirahoshi or Wano, because Wano, like Zunisha has to break down the walls first for whatever reason, and then we can talk about awakening, the real Pluton. I mean, yeah, Pluton. But I think the issue though is that it is kind of an ass pull, I think, to have Catarina in contact with Luffy in order to gain Luffy's likeness. Or if there's another way she can do that, like for example, let's say Caribou stole something off of Luffy, and then she could touch that item that belonged to Luffy and then transform into Luffy via the item. So it's like an indirect method. So let's say it's not permanent, or it doesn't last as long, or the hell, it could be some of that sort where it makes more sense, where it's not as ass-play, like, hey, at some point they ran into Luffy and then she warped in, touched it. It's like, wait, hold on, whoa. Like, we have to make that make sense. So that's why, if I want to kind of give your theory any credit here, be like, okay, well, maybe it's through those means, where Kaibu has something of Luffy's, and then she can transform into Luffy because of whatever Kaibu has that he stole off of the Strat crew. That makes more sense to me. And that's if that's her powers work, which they could, because she's a mythical Zoan, so the paradigm, what she cannot do, we don't really know. So Oda could kind of mix it up like that. But that makes a lot more sense than she actually grabbed up or touched up Luffy at some point, when Luffy should be, again, at that point, I know that it doesn't matter, but he's in Gear 5, he's kicking ass. I don't see how Kyrie comes in there and touches him. I just do not see it. I don't see it.
No, I feel you. There's no problem with that, right?
Yeah.
But what if Catarina has turned into someone else that Luffy trusts and touches him that way?
I mean, we could get into that, but
it doesn't have to be Catarina just
but Catarina
and Catarina.
But Catarina and Bone Clear are the only two that we know that can transform other people like that and actually confuse other folks. Those are the only two people that we know can do that. So that's why we kind of have to assume that it is Catarina in some way, that she was the one that was doing this and then we kind of cook from there. Because it kind of feels like, if anything else, that this plot point is better suited off. It's better suited off as like a more of a after everything's all said and done, where after everything's all said and done, Luffy does destroy Fishman Island, and then they ferry the ship up to the surface because they have no need for Fishman Island anymore. So they destroy it as a sign of, we're leaving the past behind us, we're leaving these dark waters behind us, and now we're gonna live in the surface because now the world has changed after everything's all said and done. That's what I personally feel, honestly, because like we don't necessarily need to happen. Like, let's say, because. Yeah, that's what I would say probably is better off suited, because I'm not necessarily too concerned about, I don't see it being the case where they get Shirahoshi. Because it kind of fucks, I don't, because I think it kind of fucks up a few things. I think it fucks up a lot of things that Luffy had established as a emperor, as a defender. It's almost like in the same vein as Robin, where it's like, I don't see Robin ever getting captured anymore because she has her friends there to protect her, right? And it feels like in the same vein, Shirahoshi should be protected in a very similar manner, by everything, like especially after everything that happened on Fishman Islands. Like, she gets captured again, like, or this happens again. Like, after what happened with the attempted capture by the Celestial Dragon on the Holy Land, she gets captured. Like, shit. I mean, we could do that, but it kind of feels a little more redundant. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see her being on BB's side. Let alone actually doing what BB wants. Like, hey, I'm going to actually have you control the Sea Kings in my favor.
Bro, getting captured by Blackbeard, that'd be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy shit. But
getting captured by Blackbeard, especially for the use of her power. Whenever she's been getting captured before, it hasn't been for the use of her power. It hasn't been because people know what she can do.
That's right.
I think with Blackbeard, taking her specifically for that reason just adds, just so much more depth to it.
All right, so
same thing. How do you see him going back to Wano?
Yeah, let's say, how do you see him getting Wano?
I mean, so I think this is what Blackbeard is going to be up to, right, for the next, for the foreseeable future on One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, once he gets the information of the from Karibo, I think Wano is the first destination before Fishman Island. Truth be told.
But how do we do that without Zunisha? Like, Zunisha should be the key to getting, Pluton. Like, the borders have to come down first. I don't think he knows that. Does he know that?
I don't think that's like with Blackbeard's power. I think that he would be able to overcome that pretty easily.
Nah. There's got to be some sort of trick or mechanism, because I don't want to undercut Zunisha's main purpose on the story. Where, hey, we have the hype of Zunisha needing, it's necessary in some way to remove the walls of Wano. In comes Blackbeard, Quake, and they all tumble down. It's like that. I think I'm not really buying that sauce. I think it's got to be involved with Zunisha, because you have to get Zunisha involved with Wano Country's borders going down. At least, otherwise, that's kind of completely shitting on what you wrote before. Like, oh yeah, like Zunisha match, not Blackbeard, psych. Sure, but that's kind of cheeks. Kind of sucks. No, just Quake it up and that's the end of the story.
Hey, bro, if it's the fucking craziest Quake that we've ever seen in the series, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nah, bro.
I
don't care if he's Naki Master Jiro. Nah, bro.
I think I'd be pretty juiced.
Nah, bro. He can pull some Naki Master Jiro type shit. I don't give a fuck.
Bro,
no,
you would be creaming. Stop it. If he did,
but it would be stupid
Jiro
though.
Stuff.
But it would be stupid. It'd be like, oh yeah, for some reason now we're just gonna completely obfuscate Zunisha's whole purpose in the story by having him just go quake, and he just brings down the walls, like it was the walls to West Germany or something. No, fuck that, dude. There's nah. I can't buy it. If Oda establishes Zunisha as the core reason why the walls have to be brought down, then I have to just believe that's gonna be the case here. And we're not gonna try and ruin that by having BB come in there and do it himself. Now maybe you could have a thing here where they go to Wano country and they actually capture Momonosuke, and then they force Momonosuke to have Zunisha bring the walls down. That's okay. That's different. Okay, that's for sure different. But let's say, for example, even if they do get Shirahoshi, right? I don't know how you force Shirahoshi. I mean, I guess you could argue Laffy could hypnotize her, but I still have a hard time believing that it's going to be the case where they're going to be following her will when she's hypnotized. That's what I personally feel, but who knows? I like the theory, though. It's that, does he need all three? If he has one, I think he said all three.
Well, so
all three for what?
What I think it is, because he's going to be the king of the world. And
he became the world by sitting on the throne. He doesn't need 3H weapons.
He doesn't need them. I just think that it's going to add to his threat and what he represents. I can't fathom a reason why Karibo would, or why Karibo stumbles upon this information and Blackbeard doesn't at least do something, right? To capitalize on the information that he's given.
No, I think that he'll try for sure. I don't know if he'll succeed. That's what I'm getting at here. I don't know if he's actually going to succeed. Because think about it. It's so in the arcs beforehand, like Wano Country, for example, Wano Country are kind of now determined to protect themselves at all costs, no matter who comes in. And it feels like after Kaido did what he did, isn't it really redundant and kind of really missing the point of a lot of Wano Country kind of struggled with? If in comes BB and ruins all their shit, it kind of mitigates what they've established a lot of the story in that arc. Where it's we're gonna be doing our own thing. We're gonna be free. We're not gonna be under the tyranny of any other emperor or any other person. We're gonna do our own thing. And instead of doing the Miles Morales, we're gonna do our own thing. In comes BB and ruins your whole operation. That's damn. That's why. Think about it. You could have, in theory, the elders could have gotten every admiral. Let's say they could have gotten Kainu. They could have gotten Fujitora, and they could have forced the walls down with some sort of magma shit, some sort of meteor, Majora's Mask moon type shit. They could have done that, but instead they're like, oh shit, the borders are up, we can't do anything about that. And that was a good call. So if they can't do it, I'm like, okay, if they really want to, and they could bring the walls down.
Mm-hmm.
But Zunisha is still a necessary component for the walls being brought down. Then let's wait until the walls are brought down, and then we can talk about BB coming in there and trying to steal the treasure or trying to steal Pluton from them. So I would kind of agree with you where, okay, if let's say you want to have BB come in there and steal it after the fact, because that's what he normally does, right? BB, even let's say as king of the world, his habit is to do what? Come in there on the on a side mission, no one expects it, like he's doing a flank, as per usual, he's flanking, and then he's going to try and ruin the operation on a flank play. So he tried to do something like that, where like, okay, the time is right for one country to bring down the walls, and then the walls crumble. You have the reveal of the real Wano country. You have Pluton revealed. Now here comes Blackbeard. Thanks, motherfuckers. We're gonna steal that shit. That makes a lot more sense to me, because you keep the purpose of Zunisha in effect. Mm-hmm. And then BB comes there anyway and takes it after the fact, which
after
is more akin to what he normally does.
The thing. Yeah.
Right, that's what he normally does. Right. But Shirahoshi is so much harder with Shirahoshi, dude. Because Shirahoshi, like, I'm gonna get the Sea Kings, I'm gonna dip. Like, they're way more like insular, under 10,000 meters of water pressure. It's like that's a lot of work for me to get Shirahoshi. It's a lot of work. Damn. But I do like the idea that
a rescue arc for Shirahoshi or for Hancock.
Well, I remember we had that idea years ago, but I think we have to kind of give that up now, right? Because I don't see it happen anymore at this point.
What, you don't think there'll be a rescue arc for Hancock?
No.
You don't think anybody's gonna get her, or potentially could?
Bro, Rayleigh.
She's too strong.
Nah, Rayleigh's right there.
Yeah.
Rayleigh's right there. Like, you're thinking about a fucking deal with the like Dark King Rayleigh. Like, that's work. That's a lot of work to get Hancock. I think that, because I think we talked about that. I think we had that conversation a while ago. I want to say,
yeah,
was that in the middle of Wano, or we talked about it before, yeah. And it's been like 6 years since then, and it feels like, okay, well, right now, it looks like. Honestly, it looks like the whole world government stuff might come to Luffy rather than the reverse. Because if the world government if they're fighting against the Revolution Army and or Blackbeard right now, Luffy may not even give a flying fuck unless the kids get captured. If the Elbathian kids get captured, I think now he's gonna care, because the crew's gonna care. Particularly Usopp's gonna give a shit. Usopp's gonna give a lot of shits about that. So they may make a play because of that. If there's any rescue arc, it's gonna be for Elbathian kids. But Hancock is in a spot where she should be okay. Shirahoshi's in a spot where she should be okay, I think. Wano Country is more at risk, but I think Wano Country, if we believe in their power, then they should be okay. Damn, son. I mean, woof. Okay, like, who captures Boa then? Who do you got capturing Boa?
Who captures Boa?
From Rayleigh. And Shaka.
It'd be one of the Holy Knights. It'd have to be.
Shit.
It'd have to be one of the Holy Knights for it to actually mean something.
Not like, let's say, Fujitora or something, because he's MIA.
Nah, I say a Holy Knight because of the history.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's it's one of the Holy Knights, or maybe Oda can write it so that the Holy Knight that does it was the family that had her as a slave.
Holy fuck, dude. And maybe that same family is also the amongst the family that, made Guinea their wife, their 8th wife or something, so they're all kind of tied together.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a lot, Matt? Like, isn't that like that feels like if we take your word, and okay, let's say we have 3 arcs left, that's a lot, man. We still have to go through a final war. We still have to go through a whole Void Century flashback, which is gonna be one of the Oden flashback probably. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah,
damn.
But this would be a part of the final war, because if the Holy, like, if word gets out that Hancock is captured or whatever, right? Or however it plays out, Hancock or sisters, whoever the fuck it is, right? when word gets back to Luffy, Luffy will it'll be written in the way that Luffy was already gonna go to Mary Joa anyway. Hancock being there is just like the little cherry on top.
Oh, okay. If BB does take Imu's powers, let's say it's happening soon.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be the reverse, where instead of going to the Holy Land would bring its forces to the New World and try and why not? Because hold on, because think about it. It's like, okay, call me crazy. Maybe I'm off base, but you let me know. I think that the One Piece treasure matters more than being king of the world, personally, because the One Piece treasure is the one thing that can actually change the world in earnest.
I don't know. Because do you think Joy Boy found the One Piece?
I think that
One Piece.
Either he found it, he created it, whatever was going on there. But so my take is that the One Piece is probably what we see in the mural. I think it's that gigantic sun. I think it's the Eternal Flame. I think it is. I think it's infinite power, infinite energy, like verbatim, infinite. And I think it's because whether that power comes from another plane of existence, another dimension, how you want to work it out. But I think that's what it is. But when Vegapunk had his speech where he said, the person who finds the One Piece treasure can change the world, something to that effect, that I think puts the One Piece priority numero uno even over the Final War and King of the World. So like King of the World under the One Piece treasure. Just how like Whitebeard, World's Strongest Man, he's under the Pirate King. That's how I think it works, honestly.
Okay.
Because if Vegapunk is right, and the treasure can change the world itself, even if you are a king of the world, you don't have the power to really change the world, like literally. But if the let's say the One Piece treasure, if the One Piece treasure can actually change the world literally, then and let's say it can manipulate the red line in some way, or let's say it can force the water levels back down so you have more continents being exposed. If that happens, then the world that you're trying to control is going to be uncontrollable. Because Imu, who right now sits on top of the throne, how does Imu control the world? Imu controls the world not through some sort of crazy, infinite Tsukiyomi type shit, but Imu just has a bunch of dudes spread out across the entire planet, and they try and regulate the planet through military might and force. But they can't do it for the entire world because the New World says, well, F you, middle fingers up, and we're going to do our own thing. So BB can try to do the same thing, but ultimately there's going to be pockets of, countries or pockets of ocean where they're completely independent. They just do their own thing. You can control most of the world, but not all the world, right? And I feel like with Blackbeard, I think it's fair to say that if he does get Ancient Open Uranus, he gets Shirahoshi, let's say he gets even Pluton, he has all the government assets, so he has the world, he has the Holy Knights, he has the Elders, he has the Seraphim, all the crazy Vegapunk York Tech. All of that is gonna be to try and get the One Piece treasure. That's all of that.
Okay. So do you think Imu has devil fruit powers?
Oh, probably, but I don't know if it's devil fruit powers that are shit. I don't know if they're. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Imu gets complicated.
What do you think? What do you think his devil fruit power would be? And then, do you think what he does, like the regeneration, do you think that is linked to a devil fruit, or is that something completely different?
Okay. There was a remember that old show back in the day called Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan?
Yes.
Imu could have something like that in order to make it all make sense. Where Imu could have a Nura he could have the Nyarihome power, which I think is a power that's possible. It could be the Abyss power for sure, but Oda could take it more of a sort of demonic yokai-ish sort of way, where Nura had the power to kind of basically Nura had the power of all 100 demons. all the 100 demons in the demon parade, Nerk utilize all their powers. And Imu, I think, kind of operates maybe you are in the same vein, where Imu could, let's say, grant powers to people because Imu has that, because Imu has like a stock room of 100 demon powers that are a part of its own original power. The immortality factor could be, let's say, because of Law's ability, because I think Ivanka was alluding to that, where Eva said that someone may have gotten immortality through the Obi no Mi fruit, and the person probably could have been Imu of Niruna, so potentially. But I think it could be something of that sort, where in the mural, they mention in the Harley text, number 2, they mention that within the earth, or the earth god dwells and its devils like roam, some of that sort. Like they refer to that, and I think that could be like the awakening of the fruits, or it could be Imu actively doing something back then, or whatever Mu was at that point in time. Like it could have, let's say, been Mu was different in form back then because of some like Orochimaru type shit. But either way, I think that Imu would have something like that, or the Abyss power, where in the Abyss you could store certain different types of devil fruits. And I know folks don't like this idea, but the powers that we see with the elders, they're not devil fruits per se. They're powers, but they're not actually devil fruits, because you don't have the no me whenever they're introduced. You have the Fangxi, you have the Gyuki, you have the Balkotsu, you have the like all these are powers that they have, but
like Japanese demons,
right? They're most like Japanese demons or demons of kinds. Like Cerberus is a demon, and let's say Greek in Greek mythology. So they're all demons, but they're never no me's. They're never fruit names. They're all just here's the power of the Fangxi, here's the power of the Bakotsu, here's the power of the Itsumade. But then never do they say the actual different connotation. Whereas, well, let's say Gunko, with her power, it's actually the arrow fruit. They say it's the arrow fruit. But you don't get that with Shamrock and the Cerberus. They just say Cerberus. So this is where I think we get to the other idea of maybe it's not actually a different power, but maybe it's actual demon shit. Where
yeah, I get you.
Look, would you buy the idea that there are actual demons that exist in One Piece, and like there's an actual underworld somewhere?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it's like it'd be like demon magic or dark magic.
In a way, yeah. I think maybe you can kind of say it's more like a like it's another plane of existence, right?
That shit feels like it feels like dark magic. Especially the way that the summoning circle pops up with the flames and the black Haki and stuff, or the lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That shit felt like some stuff Voldemort would do or something.
Right, like the Horcruxes and that kind of stuff. Because like the demon summoning type shit. Well, it's like, Imu actually takes someone's. I can't say it's magic. I don't think it's magic. I think that Imu, what they do seems to be magic, but it's not magic. It's actually like soul related type shit. You know, like Brook said that, okay, Brook dies, and then Brook comes back from the underworld. Brook kind of proves then that there's an underworld.
Yeah.
Vegapunk says that different users operate on a different plane of existence. And you could argue, okay, there's another plane of existence somewhere that allows their powers to exist the way they exist. And they can tap into that every time they use their powers, some shit like that. And so I think that the soul component, too, is a part of that. That's the thing that when Zoro died, or he didn't die, but like when Zoro was near death, after the King fight, Zoro could have maybe seen a glimpse of that through death. You know, like he saw like a glimpse of the underworld, like on some like Makoto Shishio type shit in Rurouni Kenshin. Like he just fucking like, oh shit, like underworld. Something like that, where it's like, okay, there's some sort of deeper like soul plane of existence type stuff where folks can tap into that stuff and use those powers. So is it possible where like when we see, let's say, Imu's powers, Imu's able to tap into the underworld and then take creatures or abilities that are underworld themed specific to the underworld and then bring those powers and give them to the people? So you get immortality, you get all these kind of things because the powers are stemming from the underworld itself, like the land of the dead. And that's, they're not actual different powers, they're more like underworld powers. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
get you.
yes. So that's what
I
kind
get
of type of Emu for sure. But what do you think?
I mean, bro, as far as Emu, I don't know if he has a devil fruit. Like I can't decide on that, but I definitely think like what he's doing is like
Hmm?
magic related or something.
Like actual
Because
man, like fairy tale type
yeah,
shit?
yeah, because he
I
like
hate
took it
that, bro.
away
I
from
hate that.
Saturn, like he gave it to Saturn and then takes it back from him.
Okay.
Um,
What if I push the idea out that it wasn't mana, it was just his soul. But like Saturn was alive for so long, for like 400 plus years, maybe.
yeah,
And then once Emu rebuked his soul, Saturn lost his immortality factor, and then his body returned back to normal. So, I mean that because he was 400 plus years old, he became a mummy and died.
yeah, that's fair. I just feel like that would be like the only thing that I can deduce that to being is magic.
It's not magic; it's soul power,
Unless,
baby.
yeah,
There is no wizards.
I
There's no
get you. It's
witches.
like
No
Brook.
Wingardium Leviosa. Nigga,
It's like
we ain't do that.
It's like akin to Brook and Big Mom.
Right, that's not magic though. That's soul, because like soul
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and soul. One Piece matters a lot with soul power type shit. 'Cause they've always done it before, but like that was never really like an actual power per se. Or like you need different powers to tap into that kind of stuff, or you need to have like strong, like I guess your hockey matters too, I suppose. But things of that sort. Like there are some folks that have a strong soul connection too. Like I think naturally you could argue that.
But
But
do you think that that's how Emu is able to control Gunko? It's
yeah.
like he's controlling her soul.
Yeah, I think that Emu probably okay. So when we have the pictures in front of Emu, we have Luffy, Blackbeard, Shirahoshi, and we have Vivi. I think that was like Emu's like they gave him those pictures because they could have been they're all candidates to be the next host for Emu's soul or Mu's soul. Where like right now maybe Mu is controlling, let's say Nefertari Lily. Like Emu's Vivi's great grandmother, right? Or great grandmother, whatever. Okay, ancestor, and let's say Gunko is a person that is, for some weird reason, she qualifies to be a host for Mu. So Gunko can be controlled temporarily by Mu, or even permanently by Mu if Mu so chooses to. But Vivi was also one of those candidates. That's why Emu wanted Vivi. Emu wanted Vivi because Emu right now is controlling Vivi's ancestor, Lily. And then by default, that would make that Emu could have a viable host. Something of that sort. Where that would kind of work there. So it kind of like negates the idea of lost powers mattering here. And it's more like Orochimaru stuff where you need a host, let's say every per, I don't know, 1,000 or some odd years. And that's Mu. But that I think is more akin to that than let's say magic, where there's some sort of spell or incantation that they used, and then by doing so, they're able to let's say take over. Because normally in the story, like think about it, like magic has never been a thing in One Piece, like ever. Like ever. Like no one's ever used magic in the first, like ever in the story. Like Emu would be the first person to do it if there actually was magic. But why is Emu only the one that can tap into the mana stream of the world or something like that? Because normally that doesn't exist. Normally there is no mana. There's no mana or magic in One Piece per se. Everything that's been magic has all been explained by other means. Technology, different powers, Haki, stuff like that. Normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like it could very well turn out to be a devil fruit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just think it has to be something more because this is coming like just because of how wide of a range he has with the powers, or she has with the powers, to be able to control people, give the power to people to power them up. It looks dope. And then I mean he transformed into something as well.
Right, with that giant monster when Sabo pulled up. Yeah. But I mean, because it probably should be a fruit power because we'd hope so. Because if it's a fruit power, that means that BB can take that shit. I don't know if BB can take a non-fruit power. Like I don't think BB can do that. Maybe.
So
Yeah, BB. Oh, go ahead.
where are you at with power scaling for One Piece, King?
Brother, Jesus, you know where I'm at. Like you, what do you mean? What you mean? Okay, I'll say this though, right?
So here, let me
Yeah,
add.
cook.
I just
Do your thing,
want to
cook,
ask you
cook.
a couple questions. Just a couple questions,
Cook.
you know.
Oh, my interrogation.
Yeah. It's just funny little banter.
I got
Um,
you. Yeah.
so how do you feel about the Admirals now? Do you change your tune on them at all?
No.
No, you
No.
still think they're pretty
No, they're good. Well, okay. What?
still
wait.
left to be desired, right?
Not really. Okay, so like, what do you think my tune is on the Admirals? Because I think I think I know your tune on the Admirals. What do you think my tune is on the Admirals?
So I think that you think that there's no Admirals that can defeat a Yonko.
I used to, but then Buggy came to the mix. I'm like, okay, well. I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, oh shit, like, Buggy's Yonko? Fuck.
Exclude Buggy. Exclude Buggy, right?
Yeah.
Because Buggy's an outlier. But I think in general, right, you would say that that any admiral, past or present, that goes up against these Yonko, there's no chance that they would win, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
I mean, I'll probably say when I talk about Admirals, I talk about mainly just the Admirals. So I'm talking about like,
Aokiji,
Kuzan,
Kizaru,
yeah, pre-time Aokiji, and I think right, all of them.
Fuji, Green Bull. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Because I don't, I kind of put on a higher tier. I give more respect to Kaido's name. I also say that Kaido can probably beat Luffy now. That's what I'll say. But I know folks don't like the idea. But I would say that Kaido can probably beat Luffy now. It's that because Luffy still has that really, really bad stamina issue. I would give him that nerf, I suppose. But if Luffy does have enough food in his stomach, it's gonna be a hard fight no matter what, no matter who he's fighting against. It's just that Akainu, I kind of give him credit because I'm not gonna forget that Oda does glaze Akainu to high heaven. Like Oda glazes the shit out of this guy, so you have to respect it.
Hey, Josh, appreciate the $2. My bad, King. Appreciate the $2. He said, "Did the paint girl from Broke Works use magic?"
As far as you know, no, that's not magic. There's like some sort of what was it? I forgot what it was, but like what she did is like she kind of painted something. Like basically, it's like a version of like technology. That's what, as far as we understand it. Because I remember that ability. So I think it was Miss Golden. Was it Golden Week? No, I forgot her name.
It might have been Miss Golden Week.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but she was able to paint like these symbols onto Luffy. And then Luffy kind of like lost his mind, or he had to comply with all her stuff. Like it was some sort of like it was some version of hypnosis. But like we've seen on Elbaf, like with these rocks, they can actually paint massive rainbows that go on for like miles. So like you can paint things into existence and out of existence in One Piece, and that's part of technology. That's why it's like. Again, just when you look at the history of the story of One Piece, more often than not, when there's some sort of weird phenomenon that's going on, it's either a soul thing, a technology thing, or a power thing, whether it be Haki or whether it be different powers. Like, think about it. Like, Imu would probably be like the first person in the entire story to show magic, like genuine magic, like wand and everything. It's like, really, magic, magic. I mean, because it's way too soon for it's too late for magic at this point in time in the story. I mean, that's what I think, though. I mean, I could be wrong. I won't deny that, but that's what I think. Miss Golden Week chat. Okay, yeah. It was hypnotism, pretty much. Yeah, but she's able to do that through her paintbrush. Through like, I think it's a version of like some sort of technology that she utilized. But yeah, that's what I'll say.
But anyhow, back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So the Admirals. Yeah. So I kind of put on a different level, and I think he could beat Luffy now, probably maybe even Blackbeard too at this point in time. But that's it. I don't give Akainu that much more. Like, I'll still say that Big Mom and Kaido are showing them Akainu. That's what I personally say.
Okay.
But outside of that, I mean, like, I guess the question for you would be, like,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, question for you is, do you think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru on a good island?
Okay, this is what I'll tell you, right?
All
This is
right.
what I'll tell you. I think that Luffy versus Kizaru was a big letdown, first and foremost. Okay.
All right.
So for and let me explain. For Kizaru to be pretty much the admiral that that started the time skip, that kind of made that made Luffy, he kickstarted Luffy realizing that, yo, we're too weak. We need to figure something out in 2 years, right?
Right.
So whenever that happens to the Straw Hats, they find out right then and there that they are not ready for the new world, right? So then we come into the new world. The first thing that we hear about coming into the new world is you either take the umbrella of a Yonko, or you constantly challenge a Yonko, or you take their umbrella.
Something like that, yeah.
And you take their protection, right?
Yeah.
So then we come to Luffy, right? And then we come to Luffy becoming a Yonko, okay? And being able to, obviously survive in the new world, okay?
Right.
The first admiral that he comes across that is actually threatening them and that is actually there for the Straw Hats is Kizaru. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the same admiral that kickstarted their journey, to the 3D 2Y, right?
Right.
So for what I thought would have been great is if all of the Straw Hats get some get back, okay? And you have the Straw Hats. You have the Straw Hats 10v. At the very least, all of the Straw Hats that were there during Sabo, but fuck it, why leave some out? Let all of them get some. So 10v1 against Kizaru, and then the fight eventually phases into Luffy Kizaru. And then Luffy and then Luffy finishes him. Luffy gets a Haki bloom. And before this is a Beck chapter, okay? Before this is the Beck shit came out, I thought that we were gonna find that someone in the present story was going to it was gonna be publicized that they defeated an admiral, because up until this is a Beck chapter, we never heard of an admiral being defeated by a pirate. We've only heard of an admiral losing against an admiral.
Right, Akainu versus Kuzan. Yeah.
Aokiji, exactly. Right. So and what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that some Yonko haven't defeated. You
don't count Film Z with Zephyr, right?
Nah, not really. Right. But what I'm saying is, right, I'm not saying that some pirates haven't taken down an admiral before. What I'm saying is that it hasn't been publicized, or it wasn't publicized. So until the Zebek stuff came into play, I thought that Luffy, Sabo, or Blackbeard were going to be the ones to do it. I think that they're still the highest candidates to defeat an admiral and to be publicized, Luffy, right? Sabo, or Blackbeard. Okay. So I thought that Luffy would take down Kizaru and Egghead. Because, I mean, if you have Yonko losing their positions, why not have admirals lose their positions as well?
I mean, the idea is that, they're rare. Like, you can't, they're like super shiny Charizards. You just can't get one, it's hard to get an admiral,
Well, no, fuck that. It's not too hard, because they did the draft and then they got 2 admirals.
Yeah, but you only got 2. Why not get like 5?
Because it's scarce, right? They needed to fill those positions.
That's the point.
I get you.
Strong dudes.
But at that point, I don't think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru. But that's why I said you implement the Straw Hats 10v1, okay? And obviously, all of them aren't going to be able to do much to Kizaru. Like, you're going to have, obviously, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jimbe that are going to be able to do something to Kizaru.
Right.
but you can still incorporate the other Straw Hats, just for the callback to Sabaody. I mean, it includes everybody that was there. You might as well like it. It's and what I'll also say in regards to this, since you asked me, I feel like Saturn's presence completely deflated Kizaru.
Deflated him? You think?
Yes,
Really?
yes, completely, 100%. Saturn's presence deflated Kizaru to me. I was like, bro, Kizaru should have been the big bad guy. He should have been that guy. And then the way that the Gorosei all pulled up,
they all pulled up. All five of them pulled up. Kizaru can't be the big bad guy when all five of his bosses pull up. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That Saturn deflated him for me, because we're thinking like, bro, you gotta remember, they went to the Navy headquarters and they showed us on a fucking on a cliffhanger that Kizaru left to go to Egghead.
Right, true.
And that he left without getting anybody's orders. He just went and did that. So it's like,
but he had Saturn with him though. But Saturn pulled up with him though. Like,
yes, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying though, in hindsight, right? We didn't have any of that information that Saturn was with Kizaru at that point in time. At that point in time, it just seems like Kizaru is headed to Egghead because he knows that the Straw Hats are going to be there.
Okay.
That's what it seemed. That's how the picture was painted. Okay, so when we see Saturn, and when Saturn's there, he's like, obviously, some people are gonna say Saturn's stronger. I think Kizaru is stronger. I think that Kizaru is stronger, or that the Admirals are stronger than the Gorosei. My personal opinion.
All right. So, because what we're kind of going through right now, because I'm thinking about, because you just brought back a few things I thought were interesting, and I think I'm gonna try and get there's a root to all this. Chat, that's what he thinks. All right, chat. All right, listen. Matt just wants one. Okay, just real quick, because some guys are going right now in my chat. Matt wants a 10v1, so he gets a reason to lean for Kizaru taking the L and still be stronger than Luffy. All right, listen, John. Pretty sure they don't know.
But can I speak to that? Can I speak to that?
You can go ahead, bro. We here for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. So listen. Did y'all not hear what I said about not all 10 people would be effective at all, and that the only point of the 10v1 is for the callback to Sabaody, right? So that the Straw Hats can show that they are a Yonko crew to the Admirals, right? Specifically, the Admiral that stopped them on their journey. Okay. Then
it'd be like commemorative, Chad, where it's like, hey, like every Strat gets a pot shot on Kizaru. Not saying this can actually be like an actual major damage shot, but it's like every Strat gets their own time to shine and prove to Kizaru that, hey, we've gotten stronger, and here's how I've gotten stronger. And then we kind of scale up to Luffy going 1v1 against Kizaru after all the Strats do a thing against Kizaru and show, okay, they have gotten a lot stronger. That's the idea.
Yeah, it eventually fades over into Luffy versus Kizaru. And now I'll be the first one to say, I do think that Kizaru was stronger than Luffy in Egghead, but Luffy would have been able to pull the win off. I think right now that it's a 50-50, right, with Luffy and Admiral. Not named Akainu.
Right now?
Yeah, Luffy right now with but obviously Luffy's the main character. He's gonna win. I think if Luffy were to get into that one-on-one fight with Kizaru, it would be probably one of the hardest fights that he's ever had. Okay, him or Kaido. Okay, easy.
I think I agree with you, but it's like, all right. Here's what I would say, because I want to kind of get to like a root cause of this, or as to why I would say. I think that going into the arc, I think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru, like off rip. I think he was stronger than him off rip. And the reason why I think is because, now I would say this, it's not to the point where it's like he's that much stronger than Kizaru, but they're comparable and they could fight it out and they would go bar for bar. But I think that Oro's kind of setting up something very important during Egghead Island, and that was establishing the current rivals and removing the last rivals. So when you look at Luffy's rivals during the Yonko saga, his main two rivals were Law and Kid. And the way I kind of view was that when after Wano Country, we're going into the final part of the story, and we would see Law lose to Blackbeard, we would see Kid lose to Shanks, but whoever Luffy fought against, Luffy would win. That's why Luffy would be establishing himself. That's why he was the emperor coming out of the saga, the last saga, but Law and Kid were not the emperors. And then what happens is that was my thought process going into the arc, essentially, where I guess like when we found out that we had BB fight against Law, and then Kid was pulling up on Shanks. And when Kizaru pulled up with like a super buster call, I said back then too, like, Luffy's going to win. I did videos this too, like, Luffy's going to fail. I mean, Luffy's going to win where Law and Kid are going to fail. And right. I think that when you think about the idea of, let's say, bounties aren't power scaling metrics, but Oda did something weird where he gave every Admiral a 3 billion berry bounty, and also Garp too. Why did Oda fucking do that? I thought it was very strange because he's never done it before. Why just carte blanche give a certain position of power also a similar bounty across the board? And I think it was kind of Oda telling you that bounties don't necessarily mean power, but if you want to argue that every Admiral is comparable in power to each other, that's fine. And also if you want to say that other folks that are the same caliber are also comparable to Admirals, that's also fine too. So if you want to say that Kid, Law, Garp, Luffy, Kizaru, Greenville, Fujitora were all around the same level of power, I don't think that's that far off to say. But there has to be some sort of like pecking order within that 3 billion berry sort of marker, right? Yeah. And because there's no other reason why Oda would do that. There's no other reason why Oda would give the rank of Admiral, which is a rank that's dictated specifically by power, 3 billion berries. You only become an Admiral if you're strong. If you're weak, not Admiral, stand down. The rank is based on power, specifically. So, take it like that. Okay. Law and Kid couldn't cut it.
I would say in this situation, right, I think like with Cross Guild and the bounties, is that they just gave the Admirals a specific, like, a specific bounty. Or so here, but every Admiral gets 3 bill no matter what. I don't think every Yonko is, every Yonko isn't like that.
I agree. But I think Oda, my surmise is that Oda did that to kind of showcase that people that are 3 billions are comparable to each other because the Admiral rank is a rank that is specifically denoted by power. It is the only rank in the Marines where you need to be like X powerful to be an Admiral, because no Admiral is weak. Like, there's no Admiral in history story that's weak. Green Bull's not weak. Fujitora's not weak by any measure. Nor is Kizaru. Nor is Akainu back in the day. Or Kizaru. Every Admiral has to be strong by default. Pink Boar and Momo and Cheeton, what are they called? The
Momosagi.
Momosagi and Momosagi and Shit On, whatever his fucking name is, I have no idea. These two, they didn't cut the drill because they weren't strong enough. They were not strong enough to be Admirals, but Fujitora and Green Bull, they were strong enough. Yeah. That's the idea. So you have to be strong to be an Admiral, right? So all I'm trying to establish here is that going into it, you kind of like a few folks that are like in the same on paper, a few folks that are in the same cauldron of power. You have Kid, Law, you have Luffy, you have on paper, you have Garp, you have Kizaru, you have Fujitora and Green Bull. Okay. Luffy, I think, has to establish himself as like the leader of that because Luffy would win where Law and Kid failed. So, and also Garp loses to Kuzan, who I put over Kizaru. So it's like Garp loses, I would say. Though you may want to, debate that, I suppose. Kid loses.
There's no
Law loses, but Luffy wins. Luffy wins. And I think the biggest case here is that, remember during the arc where, I don't know if you want to take, the animator's words for it, where the animators say that, hey, like Kizaru, Luffy's not really trying to be Kizaru, but you can kind of tell during the arc where they're not really. He's focused on more so trying to save Vegapunk. Like the objective here is like, it's not a team deathmatch. It's a escort mission. That's what they're trying to do. And so Luffy's motive going to the arc, going to that point in time was, I want to save Vegapunk and get off the island, not necessarily beat Kizaru. And so, and I think that's why Kizaru himself was also kind of like funky too, because Kizaru, he really liked Vegapunk, obviously, like that he was his friend. He didn't want to kill his friend, but Saturn, I think, took the sails out of his wind because he was trying to save Vegapunk, but that ultimately wasn't working. I think that's the idea, where Kizaru wanted to kind of save Vegapunk in some way, but because Jay was there, Jay just couldn't allow it to happen because Jay wanted to see him die no matter what. And I think, and so that's the thing that Kizaru was kind of like deflated. He was very like uncertain about things, even gives Luffy the food as a way of trying to save Vegapunk, save his friend. But ultimately, he had to commit to it because Jay also he wound up goring him with the leg anyway. But Luffy is also not committed to it either because Luffy is like, I just want to kind of protect Vegapunk and get him out of the island because that's what I promised. So, and again, the Vincent Chansard, when he was talking to Brago, talked also, he mentioned how like, hey, like the director said this about, he's not actually really trying to kill or fight Kizaru, which makes more sense to me because you kind of get that vibe in the arc, I thought. But then Kizaru arc is not going all out either. So they're kind of like not going both all out in some sense.
Yeah,
but
I think both of them, and I think Luffy didn't even use Luffy used Conqueror's coding against Kizaru with the Star Gun, but I don't think at any other time did Luffy use Conqueror's coding.
But I would say like what changed for me definitively is like you could argue that Kizaru and Luffy, let's say, somewhat comparable, but fair enough, fine. But I think what changed was when we actually saw him at full power. I think I was like, okay, hold on, this is a whole different beast. When Luffy got that full stomach. I mean, like, this guy went to Gear 5. Like, the first time in Gear 5, he ran through the Lavostratum barrier, took damage from that stuff, and then grabbed Kizaru. But
so do you think that we saw the full extent of Kizaru's abilities?
Probably not. But I don't think it can compare to Luffy's full power. That's what I'm trying to get at here. We're like, because so like Kizaru, I don't think was going all out, but I don't think it was also, he was holding back massively on the other side. So, like, let's say on a scale, let's say 1 to 10, Kizaru's probably like at an 8 or like at a 7. He's not at like a 2 or 3.
Let me ask you this, just based off what you just said there, right? And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the rest of the admirals.
Sure.
So do you think that Kizaru was using, or here first, do you think that Kizaru is able to use advanced Haki techniques? Future Sight.
Yeah.
Rio.
Yeah. I mean, we see him do that in Marineford, where he does the Rio Haki, where he's able to make the barrier out thin air. I mean, he does that. Okay,
fair. Now let me ask you this: do you think that it is out of the realm of possibility for more than one admiral to have Conqueror's Haki?
At a time, probably not. I'll just give it to Akainu and just call it a day.
Okay, so you think Akainu was the only one?
Yeah, because Sengoku was.
But in the past with Garp and Sengoku, you had 2 guys that were able to use Conqueror.
Yeah, but they were the only 2 though. Like we never hear about the other admirals of the past era. Like
that's fair.
The only admiral that matters is Kong's bitch ass. But Kong gets shit on by Garp himself. So it's like, yeah, like who cares? Like Kong he's not noteworthy at this point in time. Hope he never will be. But in today's era, you have 3 guys per like you Akainu, Kuzan, and Kizaru. They have Kizaru, Fujitora, and Greenbull. So you have 3 guys now, and I mean maybe you could argue even that they had 3 admirals. Let's say back in the day they had 2 only because, but they added 1 more person because Rox killed one off screen. Maybe they had to bolster their forces. But
we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, right?
All right.
So you said, so do you think that Kizaru was using any of his advanced Haki techniques in this fight with Luffy?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
just because you don't see it doesn't mean that he's not there. You know, like so.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll accept that. Not I'll accept it, but I agree.
Oh.
Like, just because we didn't see him use it doesn't mean that he didn't. But I would say in most cases, right? So like in the case of Luffy, against the Gorosei, right?
Mm.
I don't think that he did, but I'm not gonna say that he didn't.
Yeah, because it's hard to gauge. So you know, like when you
Like,
read
we didn't
Toriko,
see
like
it
so, like
happen,
remember like when
right?
you read Toriko and Toriko, Michitoshi gave you. He went out of his way to tell you like the details about like here's what's going on. Like here's like the ultimate routine. He's able to actually like manifest shit with the ultimate routine. Okay, like we get it. Like because they tell all the details. But Oda doesn't do that. Oda kind of a lot of times he's very vague about shit. Like he won't draw shit properly, or he'll jam pack the page full of text, and so it's kind of like they're doing stuff we can't really tell what's going on. You know, like Oda would do a lot of that. And so, but like will Oda show us every instance of someone using internal damage Rio Haki? No. I mean, he didn't do that against Kaido. Like, we just had to assume that he was doing that constantly against Kaido, but we didn't see every instance of like, you know, his bones like getting Haki-fied. And that did not happen. That did not happen. No.
No, it didn't. It didn't. So all I'm getting at is that I think we both can agree, right, that Kizaru was probably holding back a little bit on the use of his abilities. He didn't use the best abilities that he has access to. I
agree. But that's why so I agree with you, but here's the problem. And the problem is that when Luffy's at like full power, so now he's at like a 9 or a 10. He immediately starts to change the environment around him. So even the surrounding water starts turning to rubber, and you have these big ships that are bouncing up into the air. And then he fights against Kizaru, who's going let's say like at like a 7, and Jay, who's going at a 10 at the same time. Now, bro, like I don't know about you, but like the White Star Gun was crazy. But when Luffy was in giant form and he matrix dodged like Omega beams from Kizaru point blank, Nah. There's no recovery from that. There's no recovery. It's like, oh shit. Like Luffy's when he's at a 9 or a 10, he really is something else crazy. And it's hard to vouch for Kizaru when Jay Garcia Saturn's there too, and he's going 1v2 against Jay and Kizaru, and he's coasting. It's like it's freakish. So that's why I think I understand the arguments, but I think that like. With round 2, it's kind of really hard to say that Kizaru, who again, I think is going at a 7 or 8. He's not going all out, but he's still, you know, committed, especially now after Vegapunk got gored, but he's still committed nonetheless. He gets dunked on by Luffy. Like Luffy just like, it's crazy. Like Luffy he was a true beast, man. Like it wasn't even a contest, honestly. I was like, oh shit.
I think that it would have been great for the story if Luffy would have beat Kizaru. I don't know though what that fight looks like and how you know what Luffy would have to do to pull out that dub. Because I think Kizaru is a monster. I think all of the Admirals are monsters.
I agree, but I think he's more of a monster. I think he solidified himself as being more of a monster, man. Like think about it, man. Like this man, like he's like kaiju size. He's Godzilla size. Like I would argue that Dawn symbol is stronger than his White Star Gun by orders of magnitude. And then Kizaru gets packed up. And then Jay gets packed up, but again, Jay, because he's going with the intent to kill. He's going at a 10 out of 10. He's committed to killing Luffy. So even if Kizaru's not, let's say Kizaru's at a 5 or a 6 even, which I'm probably not that low, but let's say he's at a 6, it's still also multiplied by Jay's 10, or I guess add on by Jay's 10. So Luffy's going at a 9 or a 10, and then you have these two guys going at 16 or 17 at least total, but Luffy's still coasting. So it's like, to me, I have to give Luffy the edge. And again, based on how the story was structured, if Kid and Law lose, but Luffy wins, it kind of signifies that Luffy is at that point where he's worthy of being the Emperor, and then he's going to move forward and deal with other Emperor type shit in the future, which we're seeing like play out right now. Because now we have to deal with Gunko Imu, right? Who could be like the final of the story. Like, oh shit. So it's like, but that's what Luffy's thing is though. Like Luffy is one of the same way we heard about Shanks, or we heard about Kaido or Big Mom, where like they're so powerful that they dominate a part of the sea. Luffy has territories like Wano country. He has Fishman Island, territories that Bartolomeo got him, and so on. The same way we heard about like, you know, just Rosa, right? The same way we heard about, let's say, they have such powerful fighters on their crews that you can't really meet the Emperor. Like, it's very rare to meet the Emperor face to face. And then you have Luffy's crew that has Jimbe, Zoro, Sanji. You have this massive like armada of guys under his wing at beck and call, like Sabo and Leo. Like, not even him, but Sabo and Leo are doing his work in the Holy Land, right? So it's like Luffy's getting to that point now, and it feels like there's a reason why the Admirals haven't just ran through the Emperors, because they just can't. And Luffy's not getting to that point where it's like, yeah, I'm in this category too. So the only other Emperor, the only Admiral I give credence to is Akainu. But I think that when Luffy did what he did against Kizaru, I was like, not round 1, but round 2, I think it was way more clear. Round 1, you could argue it's more like, especially after the whole food delivery shit. Okay, it's like, okay, Luffy, Kizaru is closer than I thought it'd be. But after round 2, I was like, no, Luffy's for sure stronger than Kizaru. Like, he for sure. Like, is it like a wash? Fuck no. But even if Kizaru does have awakening, let's say he awakens, he turns the entire area to, like, let's say some sort of light prison or some shit like that. I think that Luffy's gonna have something in his bag to bypass that. He'll literally manifest a mirror into thin air and reflect the light that Kizaru is making away from him, and then he'll eat a few laser beams. He'll like barf out some sort of lightsaber, like he's a Star Wars character, and start like you can't tell me that you can't, like, when you see Luffy fight, you're like, bro, this guy can do damn near anything he wants to. The only thing that's holding back is stamina. That's really it. I just can't give Kizaru that dub when Luffy was going so hard and was even giving Bonnie time to shine against Jay afterwards. I was like, yeah, this guy he's different.
I get you.
Yeah.
What diff do you think that the Admirals lose to? Like, so anybody that I have in my top
high to
10,
extreme, probably.
Okay, cool. Because I hear some people say like mid diff and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa,
nah, Admirals are.
crazy.
I think Admirals are strong. All right, I know Wing Zero's crying right now, but I think the Admirals are strong. It's just that the Admirals, like, Kizaru's beating for sure every other Straw Hat in the crew 1v1 without a doubt, right?
Yeah.
And I know that messes up some of
those.
the.
Think that he's doing that? How easily do you think that he does that? Like, where do you think the Admirals?
Zoro, Sanji, Jimbe are all mid diffs to high diffs, but okay. Luffy's beating Kizaru high diff to extreme diff probably. That's what I'll say. 1v1.
I think
fair.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm not mad at that. I'll like. If somebody says, hey, I think that all Yonko are stronger than Admirals, but every fight is extreme high diff, then cool, whatever. I'm not mad at that. I say
just for Luffy. So I think that Luffy's still weaker than because FYI for everyone watching in because my chat knows I think at least by now, but for everyone watching in match chat, I think that Luffy is weaker than Big Mom now. Kaido now. He's not on that level yet. Come in to Elbaf, you could argue, okay, maybe he's on that level. But I think he's still a ways away from actually being on that level. So if Big Mom fights against Kizaru, that's like a mid to high diff on her end, because she's a stronger Emperor than Luffy is. Same for Kaido. If it's Shanks, don't even get me started. Don't even get me fucking started on Shanks. Don't even test me. Nah, niggas. Don't even test me on Shanks. It's gonna be bad.
So me personally, right? I think that anybody in the top 10. So if you go against, so let's say if it's 10 versus 1, right? I think anybody in that top 10 is minimum high diff with everybody on the list.
Nah, maybe, but also no. Well, hold on. Who's in your top 10? I guess that's a question.
So I got Dragon, Shanks, Mihawk. Who else do I have in there? Akainu, Kaido, Big Mom, Kuzan. I think I have
Kuzan.
Yeah, I think I have
Blackbeard.
Sabo. Blackbeard.
There's Sabo in the top 10? Oh shit.
Yeah, I'd say Sabo. I got Sabo and Luffy like right next to each other. So wherever you got Luffy at, or wherever I put Luffy at, I'm putting Sabo right there, either above or under him. Because I think Sabo's gonna show us. I think Sabo is gonna shock us, like when we see him fight again, or when we finally see him fight.
In earnest, right? Full on
yeah,
one fight, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be different. And I think that, in my perfect world, right, with my head canon, I think like Sabo would defeat a couple of the Holy Knights to,
Okay.
like as a little flex, right? Before he has a like major fight.
Because I do glaze Sabo up too, for sure. Though I don't know if at the point, because I think that Luffy kind of surpassed Sabo a minute ago, but I see what you're saying for sure.
I think Luffy passed. I think Luffy surpassed Sabo with Gear 5th. I think that's when he did it. But
I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I do. I kind of agree with you.
And let me tell you where I think Sabo's at, or where my mind is on Sabo. I think Sabo was first commander level before he ate the fruit.
I fuck with that.
Before he ate the fruit.
I fuck with that.
The way that the fact that he was using advanced Haki that early in the series, that's said enough for me, right? So then he gets the fruit. First thing that we see him doing, outside of Dressrosa is training with the fruit.
Right.
So by the time that he eats the fruit, I think that he's like knocking on the door to Admiral level, but he would lose to every Admiral.
Okay, I fuck with that.
Okay. After he eats the fruit and trains with the fruit, he gets into a fight with an Admiral again. Then it's 50-50, same as I said with Luffy. Like it could be a Haki.
This is like Gear 5 Luffy, or this is like pre-Gear.
So this is like Gear 5 Luffy, and then same thing I would say like Sabo with the train Mera no Mi, or Sabo with the Mera no Mi, right? Like pre or post Dressrosa.
Okay.
So that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have Sabo really high up too. Not as high as you, but I do have Sabo, I think, even higher than Fujitora and Gribble at this point in time. Because Sabo's been actively trained for his powers, like, constantly. And you can kind of see that when he fought against Imu for a second, where, like, he didn't even know what the hell he was doing, really, with the Mera no Mi when he first got it in Dressrosa. Yeah. Now, like, a few months later, he's doing, like, rook checks, and he's doing, like, his fire is able to, like, track the ground, like, aim at Imu directly, shit like that. So, okay, so he's gotten a lot better with his powers, like, substantially so. And there's that line where Shanks does say, and I think Zoro too in the pre-time skip, where they say, like, don't underestimate like our growth rate. Like they do grow at a very fast rate overall. So I'm down with that for sure, without a doubt. I really am. But I mean, would you say that if Mihawk were to beat Sabo, which I think he would that be a high diff fight at least on Mihawk's part? So Mihawk just couldn't coast through Sabo. Sabo versus Mihawk would be an actual hard fight for Mihawk to get it.
It would be a high diff at the very least, for sure.
Okay. All right.
But I feel like that would be the case for anybody. I feel like if it's Shanks, if it's Akainu, if it's Mihawk, if it's Dragon 2. If it's Dragon 2, right? Like they're all
that's your boy.
That's my boy. They're all high diffs, okay?
I think that there's a chance we argue that the number 1 versus number 10 could be a mid diff. Like, I feel like, so I think my number 1 is Shanks. My number 10, I think, is Kuzan. I think Kuzan could get mid diff by Shanks. I think that's very, very possible. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's possible, for sure.
Bro, I think there's no way that happens.
Honestly, I think it's possible for someone like Kaido too. I'll kind of keep it a stack with you. I think that Kaido, Imu, Shanks could maybe mid-diff Kuzan to fight. Now, I'm not saying that.
I feel like
I'm not saying
Shanks,
that's the case, but I feel like particularly more so for Imu and for Shanks, for those two, like a full power Imu versus a full power Kuzan, or full power Shanks versus full power Kuzan. I think there's a possibility. I'm not saying it's the case that they could get mid-diffed. Yes.
See, I feel like Shanks versus Kaido, right? I think Shanks 100% wins that. Like, there's like, if you have them fight 10 out of 10, I think Shanks wins every single time on that one.
But I don't think it's easy for Shanks. I think that's more like a high to extreme on Shanks' part.
No, I don't think it's easy. I think it's a high diff.
Yeah, I think it's a high diff for Kaido for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's high.
But Kaido's like he's in like my Mount Rushmore still. Personally speaking. But
okay.
I think that guys like Because I guess it depends on how Oda wants to really do this. Because we even have Kuzan holding back against Garp, but we see what he's done before in the past with Punk Hazard and a full-on fight against Akainu for 10 days, 10 nights. The problem though is that,
man, we gotta address that. We gotta address that. We gotta address that, and we gotta keep it. No. I'm saying us, like we gotta keep it a stack on that, right? That was purely hype purposes. That was all hype. I mean, put it so. Let me say this. Right?
Did they take a nap? Like take a nap during the fight? Had some coffee and some tea?
No, not necessarily that.
Had a
right?
cookout.
What I'll hear people say is like that their stats, their endurance and their durability is insane because of that. And I don't think that that's something that we should be like throwing in there for like their overall stats and fighting because we don't know the.
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
No. I don't like when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, their stamina is probably the craziest out of anybody in any of the top tiers because they fought for 10 days straight." And it's like
Jimbe and Ace did that. Back in the day for like 5 days. Yeah. So let's not.
And then Big Mom and Kaido fought for 3 days. I don't think that they were fighting for 3 days, literally, because
what was 3 days?
Yeah. They said they were fighting for. I believe they said they were fighting for 3 days.
I forget, but I remember they were fighting. But I forgot it was 3 days.
Yes.
Okay.
So look at Luffy and Kaido, right? We'll never see a fight pan out for that long. On screen, like that's actually happening in real time. Kaido and Luffy didn't even fight for a full day.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like showing a fight last for like that long. I think for Oda's like he did with Katakuri, he may not want us to do it again, but he does do high purposes. I think the idea for Oda is just saying, hey, these guys are this strong compared to one another. Like they're almost equal, essentially. At least back then, where you get like I'll say that Kuzan is back then almost as strong as Akainu. Like they're neck and neck, but probably this day I'd probably give kind of like the lead because he won the fight and then Kuzan lost the limbs. But at the same time, Kuzan's probably still very, very strong. He's still probably top 10 worthy. But I'll probably put like Akainu at like let's say number 6 or number 7, and then I put Kuzan number 10 or number 9, right? So like there has to be some I think some separation is fair between the two because Akainu won the fight, but they should be close, relatively speaking. Just how like you'd argue that Law and Kid should be close in power, relatively speaking. Even though I lead in favor of Law, I would say that just by default, kind of Kid has to kind of be near Law because that's the parallel that Oda's really doing there between those 3 guys, at least those 2 guys.
Yeah, I lean in favor of Law, but they're close for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, so
yeah,
but I don't think it's a bad thing to say that. But I don't think it's a bad thing to say at this point in time that like, especially narratively speaking, right? Narratively speaking, the Emperors matter more to the story than the Admirals do because the Emperors are the people that are vying for the treasure first and foremost, at least the current Emperors, whereas the Admirals are just they're just the top henchmen of the world government and the Marines. That's really it. Like, narratively speaking,
I don't think that Luffy's gonna fight another Yonko outside of Blackbeard.
I think if I Blackbeard or Shanks, either or probably both. Honestly, I think that there's a chance where you do have Shanks fight against Luffy. To probably honestly at this point, at this stage, probably honestly on Laugh Tale. Same thing for BB2. I think right now we're kind of leaning in the direction of having a 4v4. A 4-way free for all between the top crews on Laugh Tale or near Laugh Tale.
Blackbeard is putting Shanks in a box, bro.
Nah.
Blackbeard is putting Shanks in a box.
Nah,
he's packing him up, bro. He's getting him out of here.
He's not. I think Oda has glazed Shanks to the point where he's comparable to Joy Boy and Haki. I don't know what the fuck is going. Like Oda is glazing this guy because he's the author insert. You think that the author insert character is gonna get boxed up? He's gonna get off screen. He's gonna get like washed up. No, that's not possible. The author insert he's goated. Like I thought it was as clear as crystal. He's the only character in the story so far to have comparable anything to Joy Boy. The shit that Imu got fucked up with, like, and what we may see Luffy utilize in this arc, Shanks has that, bro. Shanks has that. Like, what the fuck? Nah, dude. Like, it's, and then they already said before, I think in And I think it's canon too, because Oda actually co-signed that. The stuff for Volume 4 Billion for the film Red shit. Shanks has Haki where he can actually shut down Future Sight. Like what the he can stop Future Sight with this Haki. Huh? I mean, listen,
that's crazy. That's nutty. That's nutty.
Look, like here's like the number, like best case scenario for Shanks at this point in time. What we saw happen with Kid, he could do to the Admiral. Like full bar. Bro, full bar.
No. King,
that's
too far. That's too far. That's too far. You think that he is one shot?
I said that's the best case scenario, sir. Best case. That's
okay, best case scenario.
Best case scenario. One swing, one divine departure, and Green Bull, Fujitora, maybe even Kizaru packed up. All right.
You really think so?
I said best case. All right.
Okay. So
I go by gradients, right? Like people, like there's like when you power scale, at least when I power scale, you have to kind of give like a window here. You just have to go like at worst, at best. You know, that's what I'm kind of doing here. Okay. And so I'm saying at best, fair. Like he's literally one-shotting an Admiral. Now, and the only reason why you want to buy that is if we buy the idea that in terms of power levels, that bounty does mean something because Oda established it that way. You could argue, which is a fair argument. But, and honestly, you could argue when we, it's not canon, but we saw what happened in Film Red with two Admirals. They're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Let's retreat. Oh, what, come on. So listen, I'm not saying that Shanks for certain 100% could do this, but if Oda does make that happen in the future for some weird reason, I'm not surprised. Because hey, we already kind of had some signs showcasing that. Because here's my take over Shanks. Shanks, I think, is potentially gapping characters right now in the story, but only Luffy and Blackbeard are allowed to catch up to Shanks essentially in the story in the top picking order. Because Shanks is just that nuts, that powerful. And I know that means a lot for the Mihawk guys, but Mihawk is strong. Just, Shanks is he's in a whole different strata right now. Because Oda makes it so where like you have to have Joy Boy level shit to compete with Shanks. Joy Boy level shit, like mythical shit, dude.
Do you think that like Shanks is in a whole nother tier than Mihawk?
A whole nother tier. I mean, they're both in the top 10, but Shanks is the Mount Rushmore. So yeah, because like,
so you think Shanks could mid diff to? Nah,
I say high diff just out of respect, but I don't know because like I feel like a high diff. Like again, I agree with you. Like if you're in the top 10, it should be a high difficulty fight amongst all the top 10 guys within the top 10, I guess, but. If the number 10, number 1 seeds fight each other, I would expect the number 10 seed to win. And it should be like probably it probably should be a 4-game sweep. Maybe a gentleman's sweep? Maybe. But, and so like, that's where, okay, the high difficulty fight, okay, you get 1 W, and then you still lose in 5. All right, fine. But that's how it's kind of like the 1 versus the 10, right? That's what I kind of see it as. But that's out of respect. Because I don't want to necessarily say that fuck me, dude. I don't want to get into Mihawk right now, bro. Fuck, man. Oh my god.
Nah, we don't have to stay here. We don't have to stay here on Mihawk. Like, I get tired of talking about Mihawk as well.
I get very tired about talking to Mihawk, bro. I really do.
It's just hard to it's very hard to talk about Mihawk because he has so little feats, right? But
he has feats. No.
What I will say is that some of the feats that he does have, or some of the things he does have, some people put more stake into it than others. Like some people will say the Black Blade doesn't mean shit, and I say it means something just based off the simple fact that only 2 people in the entire One Piece verse, the story, have had Black Blades, and one of them lived, centuries ago.
Yeah, but the other is alive then right have to bring the idea of, okay, well, hold on, but what is a Black Blade? Like, what does that mean? What does that do?
I know that's what I know that's what people are going to say. They're going to say, "What is a Black Blade?" Well, my retort to it is, hey, look, I can only go based off of what I know in the series, right? What I see, right?
Right.
So until I get some more information, I can't really give you an answer to that. But what I can say for sure is that it is something special, at least because he is the only person in the verse that has it.
It is
The only one.
I mean, well, alive. Yes, that's true, of course.
The only one alive. And the other one, we have to add context to it. The other one, centuries ago, was the last time that he was alive.
Well,
and he was
hold on,
called the
actually,
Sword God.
Well, no, I guess no. Technically, I guess no. That's not necessarily true. Technically, it's anyone can have a black blade, according to what Mihawk said. But like a true black blade, where like the rank stays permanently risen, that is unique to Mihawk right now. Yes, that is. He's the only one that can do that. But like all we know is that like the sword ranks up. Yeah, anyone can have a black blade if they have Haki. Yes, anyone can have a black blade. Anyone.
Yes,
but the permanent ones, that's unique.
But Mihawk is the one that has it, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like so when you look at like Katakuri, okay, whenever he first comes up, right? He has fucking observation Haki that's out of this world. He has advanced observation Haki, future sight.
Right.
He was the only person in the series that had that, so we knew right off the bat that it was special, that it was something different.
Right, compared to like the standard that Oda had established back then, correct, without a doubt. Yeah, because his show is like I'm able to see like a few seconds to the future, like guaranteed. Like, oh, okay, that's we never see someone at least really do that at that point in time, other than Katakuri.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying in terms of like the Black Blade, or like there are a couple of things that I can zone in on as far as Mihawk that like should count for something, and he should be in the same area, in the same realm that Dragon is in. Like we've seen enough.
Sure.
We've seen enough to know that he's not fucking around. And that when we do see it, and the only reason
Mihawk?
Mihawk and Dragon, like we've seen enough from them and we've heard enough, right? Because I think that in a series like One Piece, narrative statements matter just as much as feats do.
Yeah, but you have to. But those are all interpreted like very, very oddly. So like I would say like Mihawk actually is fucking around for the most part. Like Mihawk, because he doesn't care. Like Mihawk doesn't care because he's waiting for that one person to give him that oomph, that pizzazz, that feeling again. Whereas like and so that's like Mihawk is he's basically a hermit. He kind of wants to just chill and do his own thing. He's waiting to either die or waiting for someone to take his spot as the world's #1 greatest swordsman, strongest swordsman. But outside of that, it's like okay, well Mihawk he has the black blade, which is like a rare thing, but even still, within the world, the paradigm of the story, anyone can have a black blade if they put enough Haki in their sword. So I was like, okay, but are his blade special because he is permanently black? For sure. But special in what ways, we don't necessarily know. But even still, it's like, well, is that enough to actually put him, let's say, in the Mount Rushmore paradigm? Like, so, for example, we know that Rox didn't have a black blade. But Rox being an admiral off-screen, I would say is a better indication of his power than having a black blade, no?
Yeah, that is a better feat than having a black blade because that's an actual combat feat.
As far as yeah. I mean, like, so it's
yeah, that there's no, that's like that's. I'm not even gonna, sit and think on that, right? But what I will say in regards to that, is we don't know the full context behind Rox and the Admiral, but I would say just the mere fact that he killed an Admiral, he succeeded in defeating an Admiral, killing an Admiral, and it was publicized. That is one of the best feats in the entire series.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree.
Bar none.
For sure, without doubt.
It's one of the best feats in the series. It's crazy.
Sure. It's nuts. Actually crazy, yeah. But it's like I think also like in terms of narrative too, people's motives and their intentions also matter to like their power in some sense. Like I agree with you, whether they are incorporated into like how strong someone is in the story One Piece. But that's what also probably reason why you can't necessarily raise Mihawk really like in the Mount Rushmore tier, because Mihawk's narratives right now just waiting to lose to Zoro. Nothing about the character really. I mean, I think it was very, very clear when Oda gave us that page at the end of chapter 11 to 21, when like you see what I think are Oda's prime moves of the story moving forward, and Mihawk is not a prime mover. He's irrelevant in like right here I'm showing on screen too. In this crazy double page spread, which I think is like the most important panel we've seen in like a very long time. You see all these faces. You see the Emperor's Sea. You see Akainu. You see Dragon, Imu, Sabo. You see Kuzan. You see Garling, Sabo. Maybe Friggerland Garling. Shamrock. You see, so all these folks are gonna be prime moves for the story. Mihawk is nowhere in sight. Mihawk is under Buggy's watch. He's under Buggy's keep. So it's like,
yeah, I think that was just solely to show, about the One Piece.
No. I think it's way deeper than that. I think it's, at least I'd argue this. I think that this is actually telling us that moving forward in the final saga, these people are the most important characters in the story. Literally. Like Akainu, Sabo, Dragon, probably Shamrock, Imu, Kobe, Kuzan, Garling, Buggy, Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks. These are the most important characters in the story moving forward because they're going to shape and they're going to change the world as we know it. That's what I think Oda was doing here. These guys specifically, because this panel is just too important, I think. Like Oda, I think, is doing a lot with this panel. A lot. And it makes the most sense because Luffy's treasure is, of course, like the thing that's going to change the world. And you have the fleet. But at the same time, no. I'm sticking with what I said before. It's just that with Mihawk, whatever Buggy does is going to be his ultimate play. And Mihawk has no other ambitions, really. Like, after what happened with Shanks, whatever happened to this person, he lost his ambitions. And that's an important part of being powerful. Your ambitions, your will,
your ambition.
Right? And Mihawk doesn't have any of that.
It would seem so. I think
remember, real quick, because it came to my mind. Remember when Mihawk was hyped as hell when the Marines pulled up? Like, he was like, oh shit, it's been a hell of a long time. Yeah. And then the next time we see Mihawk, he wants to leave. He's fucking bored. Like, what happened to his fervor? What happened to his, like, his desire to fight against the Marines? Like, what happened there? Like, it just disappears. Either that or he just lost interest because he does lose interest so quickly.
Yeah, but I would argue, and I would say that Mihawk has already achieved his ambition.
I mean, maybe because we don't know his past, but
yeah, I would say that he's already achieved. I would say he already achieved his ambition. I just think Mihawk suffers from not being on screen. I think once he is once it's finally that time, then
well, like, what's that time to lose to Zoro?
Yeah, it is to lose to Zoro.
Like, imagine that a character only exists to just losing to the secondary main character or the second member of the tribe pirates, Zoro. That's all he exists. He just exists to lose to Zoro. That's
I agree.
It. Like, I agree. You cannot tell me that Mihawk has like the same level of depth, the same level of story movement as someone like Shanks. There's just no way.
He doesn't. Comparing him to Shanks is crazy.
He's just there to die.
In terms of his relevance to the story, I don't think that anyone would argue that Mihawk is as important to the narrative as Shanks is.
But I think that's also indicative of, like, because people over here, like Kobe, we know is going to be really, really strong in the future. Garling, I think, probably could be the Mount Rushmore. I'm keeping a stack. Shamrock, I think, is probably going to be in the, like, maybe either Admiral or, like, above Admiral level, you could argue. Kuzan's already at that point, too. Sabo may even surpass Dragon in the future in terms of power. Kainu's, like, the best Marine on the planet. And they have all the Emperors outside of Buggy, but he's going to be on Laugh-Tail, probably. So outside of these Emperors, like, Mihawk, I think, not being here, I think, is a clear indication of Oda's intent of the character. And that is, he's going to maybe be a part of some Buggy raid or that kind of shit. And that's really it. Like, if they do raid, Impel down, and they get Doflamingo, let's say they get Weevil, you're going to see Mihawk in there, do some stunts, kick ass, and then he's out. That's it, end of story. And he's going to be bored again. I want to go back home, clip my nails, watch the sky, drink some coffee, read a magazine, and that's it. Like Mihawk doesn't have that ambition, dude, which is so important for like the end game of the story. So that's Mihawk.
I think when we see Mihawk in action and everything, that tune will change. I mean, I can't really say anything to that right now because it just is what it is. He doesn't. It
For
would,
Zoro,
it would
yeah.
appear that he doesn't have any ambition other than to lose. Other than to like right now, his ambition is in contingent upon someone else. Like
True.
someone else has to show up that's stronger for him to be fulfilled now. Or at this point. So yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that. Like, it is what it is. I think he's still very, very strong. I think he's probably like
No one's denying that.
definitely
No one's denying that. Yeah.
I think
like-
he's in top 5 easily.
No. That's the thing. I think the Mount Rushmore players have to be people, like at least all of them so far are people of great, like the highest standing or ambition. So Imu's already king of the world. Shanks is already a character that has probably some of the highest moves in the story, and the prime, like maybe like the primest move of the story right now among the emperors at least. Then I'll probably put I think Kaido's still alive, honestly. So I think Kaido's probably still up there as well. We already saw his whole schemes, and Big Mom, Or let's see one switching around. Let's see one put some like Freaking Garling. If Garling is stronger than Mihawk, I'm not surprised. Not one iota. Because Garling is making. I would say that Garling is probably the number 2 in the entire Marine/Wargame ecosystem. He may be even stronger than Akainu. On God.
I don't think he's stronger than Akainu.
Bro, I think he could be. I think, absolutely.
Absolutely
he could be.
I think Akainu is another character. I say top 5 no matter what.
I would say I think he's either top 5 or he's straddling the top 5. I think he is, but I'm not. But Garling, I think, kind of fucks up his jib a little bit. I think Garling, because like
Mihawk and Akainu are top 5.
I'm gonna say something real quick. You're not gonna like. I think that there's a good, there's probably a good chance that Luke's gonna be stronger than Dragon coming in Elbaf. I'm gonna keep it stacked, bro. Dragon, listen, like I have Dragon stocks, not a lot, but
it depends what they do. It depends what Oda decides to do with them. But I'm not. I mean, listen, Dragon stock is very, very low right now. I'm not.
No, it's gone up for sure because you have what's going on in the Holy Land. Folks saying it could be Dragon. He's made his moves. It's just that
people
want to see Dragon actually on the front lines. Well, I think because listen, I'll keep it a stack. If it's Blackbeard that's forcing Imu to make all these sudden moves, I'm raising Blackbeard to top fucking 3, and I'm dropping Imu down to top fucking 6 because I don't want to hear shit about Imu. If Blackbeard is the reason, not Dragon and Blackbeard, just Blackbeard, No.
Bro, it would be pretty dope, right? If Luffy is fighting Gunko Imu while Blackbeard is fighting regular Imu, or clashing with regular Imu.
I fuck with that, but Blackbeard and his boys. Are forcing all the Holy Knights to mobilize. When you have also the 5 Elders and Garling up there, and you have CP0, it's got to be Dragon 2.
I think it would be.
What?
I think it would be too much. It would be too much if it was Blackbeard, like just Blackbeard, and I think it makes more sense for it to be Dragon. So I'll concede it probably is Dragon, but
because I could buy that. I just can't buy like it's just Dragon and the Blackbeard pirates, and that force alone is causing. Because again, like what happened to the Holy Knights? What happened to the other Holy Knights? What happened to the 5 Elders themselves? What happened to CP0? What happened to also there should be, I think, 2 Admirals up there at least, or maybe that's doing Reverie. But there should be at least 1 Admiral up there too. So you have either Kainu or you have Fujitora, or Fujitora I think is actually banned. So you have either Kainu or Greenbow up there as well. And he's still doing this?
Nah, I don't think that an Admiral would be there. I think whoever it is got the drop on him, and it'd probably be too late by the time that an Admiral were to get there. But the Holy Land is just right above the Marine headquarters, so
All right,
maybe they
that's
could
fair.
get there quick.
That's fair.
But obviously the two choices are Dragon or Blackbeard. I'd put my money on it being Dragon.
Yeah, I can buy that for sure. Or maybe both at the same time. I think it's more likely to.
Bro, both at the same time is insane.
Yeah. Well, but like you have again 5 elders plus Garling. You got Shamrock and other Holy Knights. You
Like,
have
I
maybe an
just think it
Admiral
would be
potentially.
too early.
You know,
I think this would be too early for Blackbeard to
too
invade the
early.
Holy Land.
But
Yeah.
aren't we like the final stretch? If you're right, we have 3 arcs left. It's not too early.
Well, nah, I'm saying, to circle back to our conversation about Blackbeard getting the ancient weapons, I think that Blackbeard makes that move once he has the ancient weapons.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I understand.
So he makes that move to marry Joa after the fact.
Yeah, okay, I could buy that. I mean, I don't think we get all of them, but I mean, maybe just one at the most. I don't think he's get Shiroshi though. But I see what you're saying. I follow you.
Yeah, I think Blackbeard will end up, taking Imu out. However it happens, and he'll be sitting on that throne all by himself.
Yeah, for the most part. And then what's gonna be odd too is that if there is like sort of like part of simulation type thing, then because he should have access to all the government forces, then he would have access to Garling, he'd have access to all the Holy Knights, he'd have access to CP0, access to even the 5 Elders, and so all that falls under the Blackbeard umbrella. And then he would again, I think it's to use that power to just to get the treasure ultimately. That's what I think. So he has to use that because the treasure is that important. Like the One Piece treasure is the singular most important thing in the story right now. It is like the cream of the crop. That's what I think.
See, I think it's gonna be Luffy with the One Piece, Blackbeard with all of the ancient weapons.
Shit, dude. Whoa. Okay.
And everybody that donated, I appreciate you. I wasn't able to read the last one, but I got a couple of donations, so thank you to everybody that decided to donate.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of donos. I got a lot of donos too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Much obliged.
No doubt. So it is 2:00. You feeling good or what's up?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I mean, I was probably gonna wrap things up.
All right, that's cool, man. That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was probably gonna wrap things up here soon. I mean,
I would say probably okay. I would say if there's any donations you want to get to, and then let's say the question for me, and then I'll do the same thing for you. So let's say any questions for you, we'll read those donations, and then we just kind of wrap it like that. Sound good?
Oh yeah. That's cool. So I had a couple of donations. It was one from Dream saying for everybody to like the stream. I can't remember the other one that
like
I
the
saw.
streams. True.
Yeah, like the streams.
Chats like the streams, most definitely.
Yeah, like the streams. If anybody on my comments or in the chat has a question for King, go ahead and shoot it, and I'll try to sort through the best one.
Yeah. I'll do some too. So I think there's one person that's saying, you have. Well, I mean, I guess they're for me, but let me see. I'm trying to find ones that have you in there too. Can you? Okay, here we go. So John says, can you ask Matt if Kizaru is beating Kaido in Wano country?
Ask Matt if Kizaru
he wants to know if
Kaido.
Yeah, would Kizaru beat Kaido in Wano country?
Would Kizaru beat Kaido?
And then another person.
I have a funny way of like looking at these things, right? Is like I think to myself, if we put Kizaru in the same position that we put Kaido in, how does he fare?
Wait, so you put Kizaru up against Luffy,
put him up
Kid,
against
Vlog, Zoro.
Well, first put him up against the Scabbards. Yeah, first put him up against the Scabbards, and how easily does he deal with them? How does he deal with them? I think that he deals with them a lot easier than Kaido does.
Really?
Just because of the way his powers work. solely based on the way that his powers work. So
can he do as much
he
damage
would be
to them as Kaido could to them?
I mean, I don't think Kizaru was struggling to do damage to them. Like he is kicking the shit out of all of those dudes, bro.
I mean, I don't deny that, but at the same time, I don't know if it'd be easier than Kaido. I mean, I guess his Kaido was in gigantic dragon form most of the time, so he took the attacks deliberately in some sense. I guess you can argue that. That's fair.
Yeah. Kaido was definitely taking some of those attacks deliberately.
All right, fair enough.
Not to say that he couldn't die. I'm not gonna go into if he could have dodged them or not or any of that, but I do not believe that Kizaru would be sitting there willingly taking attacks. So I think that he would.
The question would be like, I guess the question is, through their own merit, can they actually get shots off of Kizaru? That's the question, I guess.
I don't think they would be getting as many shots off on Kizaru as they did on Kaido. I don't.
I guess like one. No, I guess like one or two. I'm like, or one or two or three, only because like he's a speed type person, so it's gonna be hard to deal with that. But the Scabbards they're not weak. I mean, shit, Inu and Neko should be as strong as third division commanders or second division commanders. So if you have like two of those guys, so let's say Inu and Neko, maybe Kinemon and Denjiro can maybe get a shot off or two or three maybe, but nothing substantial. I'd agree with that.
I think Inu and Neko are only as strong as like third commanders.
Inu
fully,
and Neko okay.
Fully. When they're in Sulong. Yes, I say that their ceiling is third commander.
I'd probably say second, only because like they destroyed Jack and Perospero when they went off, so they got destroyed, annihilated. So. Last year's thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Maybe we could talk about them being on second commander level, but and then here I'll say this too, right? So, for commander level, right? And we may end up going a little bit longer. Who knows? But I do not think there's a big difference between second and third, to where I would say every second commander is better than every third commander. I think second and third are pretty much interchangeable, and I think where there starts to become like a gap in separation is the first commanders and the second and third.
I see what you're saying. I'm not too sure necessarily, because I think that for Big Mom and for Kaido, it gets a bit different there, because their crews are based on that. But let's say for Whitebeard's crew, I can't necessarily tell you who the number third is after Marco. Like Ace would be, but then Ace died. So would that be now Vista? Would that be Jozu? Because Jozu's number 3.
So it's maybe
it's so
Marco,
it kind of gets more complicated. Yeah.
So it's Marco, then it's Ace, then I say it's Jozu, then Vista.
Marco, okay, because I think folks
that's
actually
the
probably
way that
say,
it was presented to me, or that like that.
Yeah, no,
that's
I'd agree.
how I feel it was presented.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it gets a little bit tricky with Vista. Vista's tricky. He's fucking tricky, man. This guy, I don't know where to go with this guy, but yeah, I can buy that. I'm not against that idea.
But to answer the guy's question, right? As far as like, do I think Kizaru beats Kaido? No, because there's too many things on Kizaru that are like a question mark. Like, does Kizaru have advanced Conqueror's Haki? If you ask me, I say yes, but I can understand why people would say no. Yeah, I say yes.
You think that Kizaru has advanced Conqueror's Haki?
Bro, I think that I think that it is more. It would be more crazy for an Admiral not to have Conqueror's Haki, Conqueror's coding.
Akainu's your boy, not Kizaru.
Nah. So look, check it out, right? So here, let's do this. Go to chapter 717 or 718, right? Whenever Don Chinjao was talking with Luffy.
717. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like 717.
I'm here to join the Kizaru agenda.
I think it's like 717, 718, right? Um,
7:17, 7:18. Okay.
so in this chapter, Don Chenjiao, Luffy says, I think Don Chenjiao is asking Luffy like, what kind of king do you want to be, or it's after their Conqueror's clash, right? And then Luffy tells him he wants to be the king of the pirates, and then Don Chenjiao says, do you think that you can beat the 4 Yonko and the Navy admirals and reign over those supreme kings? He specifically refers to them as supreme kings, Yonko and Admiral.
Okay. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
so with that being stated, right? I'm not saying that every single Admiral has Conqueror's Haki, but I think that it would be crazy for only one to have Conqueror's Haki.
Well, I mean, remember that during his era, we had Garp and Sengoku who both have Conqueror's Haki. But
Correct.
The problem is that when we look at what we know about the Marines right now, there is no Marine that has any signs of Conqueror's Haki. Not even and this is important too. Like Kuzan, who outrank higher than Kizaru, never used Conqueror's Haki at all when he fought against Garp. And he has, if he has it, then he should have used it against Garp. Instead,
I would say that he did.
When he but
I
instead,
would say,
hold on, time out.
like,
when we see Conqueror's Haki clashes between, when we see the fight between Kuzan and Garp, when Garp has a Conqueror's Haki attack, Kuzan uses the ice glove in combination with armored Haki. That's how he's able to counter and match the Conqueror's Haki attack. He stacks his different power with his Haki. That's what he does. Like what Katakuri does with his block mochi, but he does for his ice gloves. It's like same thing there. So that's able to match. But you're saying, no, he has Conqueror's Haki, he just chose not to use it against Garp?
Well, I think that whenever they did that clash, when he did that punch, I think that he was using Conqueror's Haki there. The Black Lightning was coming off both of them, right?
I think it was happening because of the explosion, but I don't think we get the gist that he has Conqueror's Haki. No, I don't think we got that at all. Because normally Oda would tell you, okay, he has Conqueror's Haki, because you can't tell from that at all if he has any mention of Conqueror's Haki, like at all.
No,
same thing goes for Blackbeard. Like, we have no idea. We see Bolts of Lightning, but we don't know if he has any Conqueror's Haki at all. So
I mean, I would say that Blackbeard is definitely a conqueror.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure.
Blackbeard is for sure a conqueror.
I think he could be like definitely. I think he could be more Deathwood centric rather than actually be a conqueror. I mean, even when we see the bolts come from the water, when he tries to attack Law underneath the water and the submarine, those bolts aren't officially categorized as Conqueror Haki bolts. They're not of the same type. They're not the same thickness or whatever you want to call it. Like Oda kind of, again, like it's weird with Oda, but you can't necessarily say that they are. So
maybe they work differently underwater.
As far as we know, no. It's just Haki. It's just the idea is that with Oda, it's inconsistent. But I mean, I would just say that it's very consistent. Yeah, I would just say like until we get confirmation, I would not say that Kuzan has any Conqueror's Haki in the slightest. Because again, if you have the ice, why not just punch with Conqueror's Haki? If you have Conqueror's Haki infusion, in the same way that Garp does, instead use Ice Glove and Armor Haki that we see him stack, and then they trade blows. I don't see Conqueror's Haki at all on that punch. So,
well, I think
for the setup,
I think no matter how Aokiji does it, he's gonna stack Haki with his Devil Fruit, Conqueror's Coding or not. He's gonna stack it with his Devil Fruit because it's just gonna make it that much more potent. I think Oda definitely needs to do a better job at displaying Conqueror's Haki. Needs to stop this nonsense of sandbagging these characters or like not showing characters using their full abilities for whatever reason.
But at the same time, like I wouldn't necessarily give characters abilities that they don't necessarily, or that doesn't make any sense for them to have right now. It's like we've seen Kizaru in a situation where he should use Conqueror's Haki, but he does use Conqueror's Haki. But then we kind of make excuse, well, actually he doesn't need to show at this point in time because he's not trying. Well, hold on now. It's like, well, yeah, but like that's like me kind of saying, well, Luffy has infusion and doesn't use it most, I guess, Kizaru. Therefore, he's not using it at all. It's like, therefore, it's like weak or some shit. It's like, nah.
What about Luffy?
Or like Fujitora has it too, but like, it's like, wait, are we?
What about Luffy not using it against the Gorosei?
I think he did, but I think that wasn't strong.
I don't think he did.
I think he did. I think he used it against the Sephiroth and the Gorosei. But
the
Oda
reason
didn't draw it. That's why I say.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like if it doesn't show up on screen, dude, and
Then it's
how
enough. Then
can
you can
I?
chalk it up. Then you chalk it up again to Oda being inconsistent.
Yeah, but if it
Yes,
doesn't
sure,
happen,
yeah.
if we don't see it, then it doesn't happen.
The only
Like
difference
that's
here is
more
that
so what I'm getting at.
but the difference here, the key difference here is that we know Luffy has Kangasaki. We're just speculating if Kizaru has it or not, and there's no signs or evidence of that. Like I would assume that he has Awakening because Akainu and Kuzan have Awakening, so I would assume that he has it too. But that's my speculation. But at the same
Cosmic
time,
Cookie, it's either 717 or 716. My bad, King.
but he may not have it at all because again, I think he's not going all out, but he's not going at 10% either when he fights this Luffy. He's going like probably like a moderate, like again, I'm 70% or 80% against Luffy. But I don't think he's holding back to the point where it's negligible. Obviously not, clearly not. That'd be dumb. So I would say again, like even if it is like not all out Conqueror's Haki, any signs of Conqueror's Haki that could be utilized, whether it be Kuzan who could have knocked out a lot of the Marines with Conqueror's Haki Pulse, or let's say Kizaru blocked me with Conqueror's Haki to fend off more of Luffy's attacks. You know, like there's nothing there for these two guys, let alone for Fujitora and Greenbull, let alone those two. I mean, shit, Greenbull, particularly where Greenbull got fucked up by Shanks' Conqueror's Haki.
I think Fujitora is probably the Admiral with the highest chance to have it. Outside of
he
Akainu.
kind of would be actually like low key, but you know.
To be honest, if Fujitora actually had Conqueror's Haki all this time, why didn't he do anything versus Dofi's fucking cage during Dressrosa? He could have done some major damage if he actually had Conqueror's Haki, but he didn't.
Well, I mean that's like anybody that we see. Why didn't Whitebeard use it? Why didn't all of these other people use it way back in the past when we saw them? I think Fujitora. It was very clear he wanted the pirates to get rid of the pirates. It would be pretty hypocritical of him to be working for the government and take out Dofi.
It's kind of funky.
Take out a Shichibukai, yeah.
Yeah, but like the problem is that that's the pre-time skips. Like pre-time skip situations, I won't apply to post-time skip because post-time skip, Kangasaki is way more prevalent in the story.
But we are talking post-time. We are
no. I mean, like Whitebeard not using that, you know, like Haki with Whitebeard back in Marine Force. That's like something that's something's tired. Like maybe he tried to, but he couldn't because of his age. That's possible, you know.
Not only his age,
but we know that he has it because we saw obviously in the pre-time skip in the Odin flashback we see him fight against Roger and he uses it. So yeah. Okay, and then also let me see here. I guess the same person has another donation for you. He's like okay, well, this is a random theory about like what if Zunisha is Davy Jones? I don't know that one. We'll move from that one. That's, yeah,
no.
And then ask Matt if Yonko Commander 1 is greatly over Yonko Commander 2, which equals number 3.
What?
If that applies for the Straw Hats. He wants to know if your system of Yonko, if your Yonko Commander system applies to the Straw Hats.
So Zoro would be the Yonko Commander 1, and then Jimbe would be 2 or would be 3.
Who's number 2?
Sanji.
That's what it is.
Over Usopp?
Yes.
All right, Revan, get out of here, bro. What are you doing? Come on. Stop. All right, Revan, get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. All right, we're trying to do this right. My goodness.
over Usopp for sure.
What the fuck was that? Okay.
All
right.
So Zoro, I say Zoro definitely is definitely over Jimbe and Sanji to me.
Okay.
Like without a question.
Well, you know how I feel about that one, but okay.
Yeah, I know how you feel, but I think that it's still a difficult fight for him on both fronts.
Okay, there you go. Well, but do you think that but you also want to know? Okay, but you're saying that Yonko Commander 2 is stronger than Yonko Commander 3, not equal to.
I would say they're interchangeable.
For the Straw Hats?
I would say so. I think that Sanji is stronger than Jimbe, but I think that Jimbe and Well, no, actually, in this case, to me, it would be Sanji and Zoro would be closer in strength to each other than Jimbe and Sanji.
Okay.
So
All right.
Sanji is closer to Zoro than he is than Jimbe is closer to Sanji.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, I know people. I think they're equal, but that's my take on that one. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Redman's being a bit cheeky. I know. Don't take that serious. Right? Redman's being cheeky. And then Darkfed says, "Is this for you? Let me see here." At 60% power, Kizaru was so depressed, unclear justice. He wanted to call out of its sick day. He feeds Luffy too. He was holding back. Okay, so I guess that's for me. I'm not sure. But yeah, basically, I understand the idea. I get it. I would say he's at 70 or like 80. I don't think he's at 60. And again, him being unclear just is kind of like, yeah, he's obviously uncertain about what he's doing because he's trying to kill his friend, but he has to follow his orders. But at the same time, again, like Luffy's also holding back too. Like he's not trying to beat Kizaru. He's trying to just help Vegapunks. He's not also at 90 or 100 either. You know, he's not at that Togoro like 80%. He's all black, fucking rippling muscles and shit. Like nah, he's at 70 or 60 too. Because the objectives of both these guys is different, but they're also not holding. They're not going all out up until I think Luffy has the food. But it's like even if you do have a max power, holding back Kizaru, it doesn't really matter at that point in time because you have a max power Geoise Saturn, and so you have a 2v1, and it's like okay, well shit, and Luffy's still like dunking. He's nuts. That's it though. That's the thing. All right, but yeah, that's all the donuts for you. That I can see right now. Anything for me over there, or no? We good?
No, I don't have any donos.
All right.
They not fucking with us. No more.
All right. Now we have to get back into do this more often as groups,
sure.
and then they'll start fucking with us, all right? Because we're doing this at like what? We started at 12 or something.
Yeah, we started.
Hella late, man.
Let's see. We started 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours ago. Yeah, I was late. I was pretty fucking late. I was
yapping for a minute, but that was really it. I was just yapping for a minute. Yeah, so
yeah, I was trying to get everybody together in the household and stuff. But nah, man, I appreciate you doing this with me, King.
No, it's good shit. It was really fun time actually, like really going over it for sure.
We definitely got to get back to it. You know, like just doing these discussions because like One Piece is literally the last of a dying breed. Like once One Piece ends, we're not going to have a long-running shonen series or a long-running series that has a chapter drop. Okay, a new chapter drop and a new episode drop in the same week. We're not going to get that anymore.
Yeah. Cuz
One Piece is the last of its kind.
I don't know if you follow like any other like mainstream shonen shows, but like the way we talk about One Piece and the way we talk about like even back in the day Naruto and Bleach, I don't see that same sort of like gathering for Sakamoto Days or for let's say Kagurabachi, or like I don't see that same sort of fervor for that for the shonens that are coming up now.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, maybe, you know, like that time is over. Who the hell really knows? But you are right. Well, like people just commit more to One Piece because you kind of have to if you want to understand the story. And so because of the commitment, you kind of want to share that. Whereas, and also it's crazy too, because like I think a lot of these shonens are even like ending too. Like, and they're like newer stream shonens, and One Piece is still gonna be going on for God knows how many more years. So. Yep. I think I think you're right. Where we do need to kind of communicate, and we do need to do more of this kind of stuff because we only have between 5 to 10 years left. So let's cook.
Yeah, bro, it's between 5 to 10 years, man. Like whatever you're trying to get out of this, and you know, like I just want to leave YouTube with something. Like I really it bothered me a lot, right, this year that I lost my monetization.
Oh, you did?
So after 10 years, right, of like I started my YouTube channel in 2012. Okay, and then wasn't really posting in 2012. It was like August of 2012.
Oh, you okay? You just get choked out? Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah, I'm good. My bad.
Shit.
So So I wasn't really posting in 2012, and then 2013 comes around,
Mm.
and then I start posting heavy. Get 1,000 subs in less than a year, right?
Right,
And
right.
I was kind of just like, cool, whatever. So I never applied for monetization. I applied for monetization in 2015 once I linked up with Brago, and
Oh,
Brago
okay. It took
like
some years.
pulled
Yeah.
me. Yeah, Brago pulled me out of the shadows. I was eligible for
Yeah.
monetization, so
Got it.
then I started monetizing my shit. Well, I lost, all my years of like being inconsistent and popping in, popping out, popping in, popping out.
Right.
Um, I finally lost my monetization this year, and with the stream that I told you about that I just randomly did, I got my monetization back just based off of that stream.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so that kind of, and then once I got my monetization back, it did like a whole like welcome back thing, and then it said it was my 10-year anniversary of like being monetized. So
Yeah.
that was fucking insane. Like like these things happen for a reason, and I think that shit just was like
It
it
woke you
just put
back up.
things
Like,
into
oh,
perspective. Yeah, it put things
yeah.
into perspective for me. I want to leave this knowing that I did something with it. Like the fact that I hadn't streamed in like almost a year, and I streamed and I had over 300 viewers, like that
Hmm.
shit was kind of on my mind. It was on the forefront of my mind for a while. Like holy shit, like people really want to listen to me talk about fucking One Piece, or
Yeah.
One Piece has just gotten that popular to where at fucking 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, people want to hear people
Right.
talking about One
Like
Piece,
we have a few hundred cats between both Twitch and YouTube on my end, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, so it's like, okay, like people pulling up. So yeah, because like the story has gotten bigger. I mean, people now enjoy it through different mediums, like, or because there's so many different ways to enjoy it now, with live action, video games, like things that matter that didn't exist back then, or at least not in the same degree. And I think that you're kind of realizing, oh shit, like I'm interested in the story now, because that's the most important thing. Like you like what's going on right now in the story, and then you want to talk about it, and then all the cats that you had kind of like, in storage starting to come back in. Like, oh, wait, shit, like people are still here waiting for me to yap about One Piece. Oh, bet. So it kind of
yeah.
makes you feel like, yeah, like you feel pretty good about that shit. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It does, man. And like, bro, like I said, man, just seeing that and realizing that it was like not to say I was just making crazy money off of YouTube or anything, but just to see that like it got taken away, it literally just put everything into perspective. And I just was thinking like, damn, I
You locked
remember when
in.
I came into this community, I really just wanted a place where I could talk to people about the things that were going on in my head, and I just wanted to have some people to talk about with One Piece. I remember I
Uh-huh.
was streaming when I didn't have fucking 10 viewers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was streaming every day, just talking, making videos, doing
The
all of that. And
struggle life.
now,
Yes, sir.
yeah, exactly, the struggle. And then now, I'm
The manga main
uncontent.
life. Let's go.
and 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 now I get pissed off if I don't have at least 100 viewers like watching my stream or something, and it just kind of put everything into perspective for me, because like that was the days like where it was like, okay, I'm doing this shit because I love it. I'm doing it because I just want to talk to people about fucking One Piece.
Amen.
um
Not
but yeah,
fucking that.
man, I like, bro, thank you for doing this, and we'll do
Yeah, no
some
doubt.
more. We'll do some
Absolute.
more for sure. It's always a good time when we get together and talk, bro.
Absolute,
Um,
bro. No doubt. No
like
doubt. All right,
always,
man.
we've been doing this for years now at this point.
Yeah, no, this is a good time for sure, and I will try and set up more of this in the future. I have events come out in the future. They're gonna be like not necessarily One Piece stuff, but like other stuff. We do have a wrestling event coming out in the future. We do have so maybe some IRL convos if we're gonna be around IRL. For like expos, that kind of stuff. Because I'm focusing on other things. I'm focusing on a lot more, let's say, gaming content and doing a lot more streams in general. But like not
Yeah,
necessarily all One Piece. I'm kind of doing things like for read-throughs. I'm gonna probably read all of Vinland Saga on stream from beginning to end. I'm gonna probably do because now that's over. I'm gonna probably do a lot of, let's say, things for other series that folks want to check out. So I've been doing a lot of content for sure, without a doubt. So but yes, we're gonna probably do more of this because I really want to get like everyone together too. For let's say like a
yeah,
convo or let's say some sort of event. It'd be kind of cool for sure, without a doubt.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So King, before I let you go, Wallace has one question for you. He donated five
Shoot,
bucks. Appreciate you,
hey,
Wallace.
shoot, let's go.
He said, "Yo, what does Oda have to do to make you put Mihawk over Shanks?"
What does Oda have to do? He has to come to my house and then he has to talk to me in English and say, hey, Mihawk is stronger than Shanks. If he does that, then I believe him. And it can't be any imposter. No lookalike. No, I need to see Oda. Like,
Yo.
he has to have that floating avatar over his face when he comes in, like on some like good shit, on some god tier shit. He has to come in like that. Like, I'm Oda. Mihawk is stronger than One Piece. If he comes in with that energy, I surrender.
Then you'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm making a video that same day.
Bro, that's hilarious.
With him by my side. Here's Oda. Here's what he said.
You heard it here first, man. You heard it here first. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all for supporting. And we'll be back at some point this week.
No doubt.
Peace out. Peace out.
All right, man. I'm gonna still be going on my stream, but I'm gonna catch you when I catch you, bro. All right, this is a good time for sure. We'll do more of this.
Nah, bro, for sure. We definitely will, man. Stay up, bro, and I'll talk to you soon.
No doubt. Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, chats. That's that. I'm gonna get some love real quick because I know you guys have a question for me. We have Kaido. So we have Red House and Roll House. Kaido should have went for the head. Buggy, Rock Sun, Lol. What's your thoughts on Kaido Devil Fruit being awakened or not? I would say not. I've done videos on this before too. Shaw Thorn. I think it's too difficult to say if Kaido's power is awakened. I'll lead towards not awakened. Because, yeah, also, by the way, if you don't know, Bensei or Mugar Rat B, his channel, you can click on the title and it should take you right to his channel. So for sure, if you want to see more of that content, support him out for sure, without a doubt. It should be it should work that way. You click on the title on the stream on YouTube and it should take you right to his channel. That should work that way. So for sure, check out Bensei without a doubt. I'm make sure I give credit where credit is due. Then we have the Grand Puma. You got to be fair. If you're giving Admiral power based off of the bounty, you got to put a Kainu over Kaido, Big Mom, but you're not doing that because a Kainu's bounty isn't based on pure strength. The Admiral bounty is based on pure strength. Literally. Your fleet admiral, not based on your strength, but also you're based on it because of your... Is Sengoku stronger than a Kainu, Kuzan, and Kizaru in the pre-time skip because he's fleet admiral? Because I don't think so. I've never heard anyone say that Sengoku was stronger than the 3 pre-time skip admirals because he was fleet admiral. Because that rank, as far as I know, isn't predicated on your power. It's predicated on other things because you're commanding every Marine across the entire world as fleet admiral. So that's why. It's a different thing. The admiral rank is based on power. You have to be strong by default to be an admiral. It is solely based on power, you'd argue, honestly. Though you can deny it because like guys like Garp said, nah, I fuck that. But it's based on power. It is a power rank. No. Kong is a bitch because the rank that he's at isn't predicated, as far as we know, on power. Again, the admiral rank is based on power. The fleet admiral rank, as far as we know, isn't based on that because no one says that Sengoku in Marineford is stronger than a Kainu, Kuzan, Aokiji, or Kizaru. No one said that. Stop, Sham. How you doing, bro? If it was a Kainu Sakazuki at Saint Saturn versus Luffy, oh no, then Luffy would lose. Yeah. Red House and Royal. Sawyer became the man covered in the birds. Sawyer is old school, man. Sawyer, he's older than me in the game, for sure. Sawyer's been doing this for longer than I have. When I started 2011. I think he started in 2009. Oh, bad. Random theory. What if Zunisha is... Okay, that got to earlier. That's crazy. That's a random theory for sure, without a doubt. But... is Zunisha a pirate? Would you consider a pirate? That's kind of weird. An elephant? Bo D Guard versus Down D Stairs versus Con Doriano. Obviously, it's Down D Stairs. because Kuina was on Mihawk's level and she got diffed. I'm willing to bet Shanks was dancing at Onigashima like Odin to stop Kaido from going to Marineford. Definitely, bro. I feel like Darkfed. I feel like Kizaru was 60% on again. I think he was probably at 70, but I get what you're saying. That's it. All right, YouTube. Appreciate you guys. We'll do more of these for sure on YouTube. Make sure before you go, like the stream. All right, appreciate that. And I'm going to see you guys on the flip side. This is a fun time talking to Matt B about One Piece. I'll probably do more of this honestly in the future because this is a great time to really just kind of dive into One Piece, dive into theories, dive into takes. It's really, because I know Randy did this for his channel, but he hasn't committed to, I think, in a while, at least as far as I can tell. But me doing this with other people, I think it's really cool. And I think doing this with other, let's say, like real, people that are like in industry, cool too, for sure. If I can do this, let's say with a Richard Chance, or let's say with a Chris Yambiem, or let's say if I spoke Japanese, maybe even Hone, now Toshi. If I could speak Japanese, I'll absolutely be talking to now Toshi Shida. All right. Well, that's it, YouTube. I'm see you guys later. Take care. Like a podcast. Take care. Stay safe. YouTube, good night. Twitch, I'm not done you guys yet. Have a nice one. All right. Twitch.